Good evening, folks, and a hearty welcome to our drive-in theater. We have a wonderful evening's entertainment lined up for you, one that will provide several hours of pleasurable relaxation and diversion for you and your family. Did you fail to dress up for tonight's show? No tie, an old shirt and slacks, a house dress? Well, don't give it a thought. We're glad you came as you are. We just want you to enjoy yourselves. Don't forget to visit our refreshment center during the intermission or any time. You love the tasty array of snacks we have to offer. So will the youngsters. Everything is quality and so good. We hope you'll make this a weekly visit. Bring the family. Bring your friends. There are always wonderful new pictures to see, delightful snacks to nibble, a gay, pleasant evening for all. Oh, a word of caution. Don't drive over 10 miles an hour in the theater area for your safety's sake. And Mom or Pop, go with the kids when they leave the car. We hope you have a wonderful time. Come back soon. Wouldn't some hot buttered popcorn hit the spot right now? Extra fluffy, extra big kernels of it pop to perfection. Then drenched with the golden goodness of pure sweet creamery butter. Can't you just taste it? We heat the container extra high, but you better buy 2 more for the rest of the family. Piping hot, golden buttered popcorn at the refreshment center right now.
We're millionaires, boys. I'll share it with all of you. Why, in a few months it'll be up in lights on Broadway. Come! The 8th wonder of the world!
Wild, weird, wonderful. The stuff for which movies were made. Adventure, to make you wonder if it's true, while your eyes convince you that it is. Truly, the thrill of thrills. Don't miss it this time.
You suppose there's time?
Sure, there's still time to visit our famed snack bar, where we offer a wide variety of good things to eat and drink to top off your evening. Want a suggestion? How about enjoying a treat we're famous for? A refreshing cup of smooth, chocolatey good Jubilee hot chocolate. Such a comforting, special kind of drink, and a favorite with folks of all ages. Hot chocolate goes down real easy this time of night, makes you feel warm and altogether wonderful. Bet you've never tasted hot chocolate quite as good as we make it. Enjoy a cup tonight.
I'm just another trouble. You told me not to come on the boat.
Good night, kid.
Good night.
Ah, that's what everybody thinks who's never been there.
Skipper, believe it or not, there's a little calm. Look.
A little go... How little?
Hey, kids, how would you like to hear this on the screen instead of the great show you came to see? That's what you sound like. Honest. Please cooperate and do your part in keeping this theater quiet so everyone, including you, can enjoy it. Now remember, lots of adults and kids, too, paid admission to enjoy the show. We must insist on absolute quiet. Otherwise, we will be forced to evict all disturbance makers from the theater. Those asked to leave today will be refused admission to this theater in the future. Thank you.
Okay, so hi. Oh, wait, I forgot to turn on my motel sign. There we go. Hello, everyone who's here or watching later. Welcome to the monthly live stream, which, as you can see, is still at the old place. I did my life update video there not too long ago, showing the progress that we've been making slowly. The bride got injured thanks to this kid who was shoved into her at the mall and dislocated her shoulder, and I've been really busy working and stuff. So Doug, to answer your question, slowly. We've been slowly making things comfy, cozy. The room that's furthest along is the tiki room, or the pre-tiki room, the pre-World War II tropical escapist room. That's the one that's most farthest along right now, followed by the bride's sewing room, studio space for her stuff, her projects. That's probably the next most along. It's just slow when you have to move out of your place and move things over to a place that itself isn't empty and fully ready to be moved into. So it's just everything's slow. It's a lot slower. Cater to her every whim and desire. I'm sure, well, she can vouch for how much I do or don't manage to accomplish that goal. But yeah, nevertheless, it was an unexpected and unwelcome surprise to have her shoulder dislocated by some kid in the mall. Didn't even realize it happened at first either. It was like, I think it was the physio that said that, oh, wait a second, this has been dislocated. But yeah, so just everything's slow. Everything is slow. So, but by the end of summer, well, for sure, because I'm not going to get any less busy come fall. Got the call today, in fact, about my fall, my winter occupational things. Right now, I'm doing my summer occupation of my tour guiding, and then during winter, I pick up with school programs, school education. So not gonna get any less busy. So we're gonna have to get in when we can, get things moved in when we can, and get ourselves moved in when we can by the end of summer is the goal now. So, but you know, it's fine once it starts going. Like it actually doesn't take us long to pack stuff and start carrying it over. It's just a matter of having the time to do it. So, anywho, that's where the life stuff is right now, and that means the video making is on hold, but still posted that update, and I got videos planned once we're in, and once I have the time to actually start working on stuff, doing videos again, and what have you. The bride isn't even here right now to vouch for herself, so I can say anything I want. Hooray. But yeah, so tonight is just chit-chatting about stuff. Hopefully Rex shows up, because he mentioned he went to Blobfest, so I'd like to hear about that. And I've got some unboxing stuff, got some new things here in the last little while that I wanted to show off. Starting with, I guess, Transformers. Picked up this guy. Prima Prime is what they call him. I don't know, but they designed, he's supposed to be the first Transformer in the like aligned continuity, the one I don't really like, but he's designed to look like the Gladiator from the G1 5 Faces of Darkness episode. So when I saw him pop up on Facebook Marketplace for cheaper than a totally new figure, I'm like, sure, I'll get him. Fits with my sort of movie and season 3 sort of Transformer collection, which is down there. See Skylinks right there. So yeah. William, did you see Fantastic Four? Not yet. Saw Superman, did a review at that. Have not had a chance to see Fantastic Four yet. but it is on the plan. In fact, we were gonna see it last night, but in our city, it's only playing like in one normal theater. Like the theater had like a 4:30 showtime for just like a normal movie in a normal theater. That wasn't like the triple expensive D box 3D ultra surround, Mr. Fantastic comes and gives you a warm hug, personally, that sort of theater. So maybe this weekend we'll actually get the chance to see Fantastic Four. I've been avoiding reviews of it, I think, because I want to just go in fresh and like hopefully be able to enjoy, if nothing else, at least the retro futurist vibe in it. Um, so we'll see. Hopefully. Um, I did like Superman. I thought Superman was a lot of fun. I mean, I wasn't going in expecting like some deep movie. I was going in hoping that it would just be kind of like a fun Superman-ish romp, and it was. Had to get like Crypto was great, stole the show. The robots were great. Um, Mr. Terrific, I think, was sort of the standout character, just in terms of like I'm not that familiar with Mr. Terrific, so he actually, to me, he was like one of the best characters, definitely the best of the Justice Gang. But Guy Gardner, I thought Nathan Fillion just like got Guy Gardner perfect. Um, right down to the goofy facial expressions and everything. From like I grew up as a kid reading Justice League International with Guy Gardner in it and that sort of thing in the '80s. So I thought Nathan Fillion captured Guy Gardner perfectly. Um, Rachel Brosnahan did fine as Lois Lane. I mean, she's gorgeous anyways. And David Corenswet did a great Superman. Superman is, as I say in my video review, Superman is the superhero. So you can have lots of different versions of him, and you can have your 1940s animated version of him where he can sometimes fly, but you're still figuring out like creating new powers for him in that. You can have your mythic your mythic deconstruction of superheroism. Whoops. That was Man of Steel. You can have just like a fun, wacky, silly movie like this Superman, and it's all fine. It all works, like whatever. Sorry, that was just a transformer that fell. Yeah, Superman. You have lots of different takes on Superman. He's the superhero, and this is just one more take on Superman, and I enjoyed it. Yeah, it was different from Man of Steel, but that's okay. Well, you can have different versions of Superman out there. There's different versions of Batman. Lots of different versions of Batman. I actually just like voluntarily watched an Adam West Batman episode a couple weeks ago, and I actually appreciate it more now, as in my 40s than I did in my 20s when I wanted dark and edgy Batman. But like the Batman, the darkest and edgiest Batman movie possible, was also good, right? You can have lots of different versions of these characters, and it's all good. So, yeah, I thought Superman was fine as just like a fun Superman movie. And I saw the different little seeds that they laid out for Bizarro and the Justice League and whatnot. So, yeah. See, Doug says, saw Superman last week, and holy crap, it was such fun. Such a delightful departure from the other dark and brooding Snyder films. Yeah, it was fun. It was a good time. It was an enjoyable movie. Grizzly, hello, welcome. I'm excited about NECA, Herman, and Grandpa Munster figures being released next year. Yeah, actually, oh god, that reminds me. I was actually gonna queue up like Toy Arc, and we could like talk about the reveals from San Diego Comic-Con. Forgot to do that. Well, maybe do that later. But yeah, I'm not like a huge Munsters fan. I'm more of an Addams Family guy. Munsters is a little like too on the nose. Is like, oh, there's the Frankenstein, there's the Dracula. But if I see like Herman Munster, that would be a hard one to pass up. Now it's a question whether or not I'll see him, because like NECA stuff never gets released here. Even like the distributor in Canada doesn't even get them. Like, as I learned when I owned a store and ordered NECA stuff, and it never ever came. Was even the distributor, like, it's up in the air as to whether or not he even gets the orders he places with NECA. But anyways, yeah, I want to get the Mask of Red Death Phantom. I've already got the Ardith Bay. I had to drive to the United States to get that before all the current unpleasantness. I'm gonna pass on the Invisible Man in the Housecoat. I don't feel a need to get a second Invisible Man. RFA I wanted to get because I like the Mummy movie and he's a different enough version of the character. I want to get the Mask of Red Death Phantom because that's a different enough looking version of him and it's a gorgeous figure. And then if I see Herman Munster, yeah, maybe I'll get him. But we'll see. We'll see. I don't dislike the Munsters. I'm just not as big a fan of them as I am of like the Addams Family. If NECA did Addams Family, like the original Addams Family, like John Aston Gomez and Carolyn Jones, Morticia and stuff, I would absolutely get those like 100%, the whole line. But we'll see. But yeah, yeah, I'm glad you're excited about the Herman and Grandpa. Those were totally unexpected, and that's like those are pretty much the only like new things in the frickin' NECA booth as well. Like NECA had practically nothing new for San Diego Comic-Con. Oh, the Metaluna Mutant. I want to get him too. Obviously, because he's a new figure, totally new character. But yeah, they didn't really have like much new for Comic-Con, which was unfortunate. But whatever. Again, it's like I still have to wait and see. Will Metaluna Mutant come up here? Will the Mask of Red Death even come up here? Will the Munsters figures even come up here? Never heard of Mr. Terrific either. Yeah, he was Mr. Terrific. Was invented after I stopped reading like new comics, so don't know too much about him. The Fleischer Superman, yes, yeah. I did a review of the figure and the cartoons as well, but yeah, love Fleischer Superman. And it's actually I've been having fun trolling people who are like the Snyder Bros, who are like, oh, this isn't the real Superman. He's not as powerful as Man of Steel. It's like, yeah, he's not the real Superman. He can fly. Superman can't fly. Superman can just jump really far. That's the real Superman. Yeah, Superman's always changing too. Always getting changes power sets and everything else, so whatever. You're right. Crypto stole every blessing he's in. Oh, God, yeah, Crypto was best. Yeah, Crypto was awesome. And that cameo with Supergirl at the end, it's like, that's why Crypto's the way he is. Yeah. Fred Gwynn's goofy sideways smirk would look gorgeous on the wall. Yeah. Yeah, if I see him, I'll probably end up getting him. Probably just Herman, though. Not like as entranced with the other characters. He's sort of like the best representative for monsters. But anyways, I would love a stuffy of Crypto. Yeah, we saw a stuffy of Crypto at the GameStop afterwards, but didn't actually pick it up. It's like, just because we saw the movie doesn't mean we have to get the merchandise. Did I ever see Rob Zombie's Monsters? No, I did not, because I heard it was terrible. So why bother? Why bother doing that to myself? It's one of those things where it's like, I'm so skeptical of modern movies, modern Hollywood, whatever. Like it's magnanimous of me to have given Superman a chance and to actually want to see Fantastic Four. So as soon as I started hearing like these very bad reviews of the Munsters, I'm like, no. Which I feel bad for the guy that played Grandpa in the movie, because he's like in the Universal Monster groups and stuff on Facebook. He's a really nice guy, and he's one of us. He's a monster fan. Like, he's legit. Yeah, the movie was not very well reviewed, so unfortunately, I took a pass on seeing that one. But anywho, yeah, that's the thing for movies. Actually, I did get some a lot of DVDs and Blu-rays recently. Friend of mine is selling a whole bunch of stuff off, and then also picked up from somebody on Facebook Marketplace the Japanese Invisible Man Appears and Invisible Man versus Human Fly Blu-ray. Picked those up. Haven't watched them yet, but finally got that. Just was waiting for it to be cheaper than is new in store. What else did we pick up? Actually picked up a Dark Shadows DVD collection, but the problem is, like, we didn't understand what was going on because it was just like these select episodes, and it's like there's a lot of space there in between episode 200 and whatever and 1000 and whatever. So we actually started watching Dark Shadows on Tubi. We're about 26 episodes deep from when Barnabas Collins first appears on Tubi. When you watch it on Tubi, that's where they start Dark Shadows. Then there's the Dark Shadows the beginning, which is all the previous 250 episodes. But yeah, we're 26 episodes into Barnabas Collins arriving, and I think he's a vampire. I'm not sure, but been watching that. What else did I get that's new? Finally got a Blu-ray of Fantasia. So only had that on on DVD, despite being my favorite Disney movie. What else we get recently? Well, a bunch of westerns, whatever. Yeah. Let's see. Saw a Funko Pop of Crypto and most of the other leads at the local Hot Topic today. Was very tempted. Yeah, I don't do Funko Pops, but I do apparently this other thing that I'm going to unbox later as well. But I did not see 28 Years Later. I don't really do modern horror and stuff like that for reasons that I've articulated before. But I guess if you're unfamiliar with the lore of the channel, batteries went out on the sign. Geez, that lasted what, all of 10 minutes? Oh, no you don't. Get back up there. Okay. Off at the Bates Motel sign. Lore of the channel is that I prefer classic horror. So we're talking like pre-1970. Pre-1968 even. It has different attitudes, different worldview, different value system involved in it, and I prefer old movies in general. Like I love classic, like black and white science fiction, horror, fantasy, westerns, musicals, all that sort of movies. I think like 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. So I don't watch a lot of modern horror. Plus, I self-insert into movies. Like God, I have only seen like commercials for this new one together with Alison Brie and Dave Franco, and just the commercials are enough to make me go, ugh. Like this whole idea of like people sticking together and merging into no, sets off my body horror. So no, I don't actually watch modern horror to speak of. I mean, the closest I've come in recent memory was watching Wednesday on Netflix. And Stranger Things. We've been watching Stranger Things as well. Except we dropped Netflix, so now we can't see the final season. So, darn it. But those are sort of like lighter. Like Stranger Things is a very like deliberate homage to like 80s adventure movies, like kids adventure movies. So, it's sort of different stuff than like pure horror. So no, did not see 28 Years Later. I see Doug says, tripped over a full series collection of One Step Beyond on DVD today. A mere $10 US later is on my collection. Nice. You should watch The House of Dark Shadows. It's a feature film based on the TV show. I might have it in that DVD collection. Because that collection, it's like, it has a disc of fan favorite movies. It has a disc of, like, best Bartimaeus Collins episodes, best Abigail, the Witch one episodes, and the best episodes with the Collins who's a ghost. And then it's like the 2 feature films. So I might have House of Dark Shadows, actually. I'm not sure. I'd have to double check. You know what's bad when you can't remember what movies you have right now? In fact, we have like this backlog of movies now, which is like, it's starting to hit that edge of like, I gotta stop, like, I shouldn't have a backlog of movies. I should only really own movies that I like and know I will watch again. But anyways. My friend though, who sold me a lot of these things, he's like, he could actually have like his own video rental store, and he's like, nah, just save stuff for like later, like when you're retired, you can watch stuff, whatever, watch it like 20 years from now, who cares? I remember I had to cast the TV series. Cool. Signs out, must be time to call it a night. Yeah, I didn't replace the batteries. I turned it on. It's like, oh yeah, it's fine, and then it's like, oh no, it's not fine. It was just sat for a while. Big fan of Universal Classics. I've seen all of them. Yeah. Nice. Obviously, I am as well. That's my big things, right? It's like Universal Monsters, King Kong, classic 1930s horror, Showa Godzilla, mid-century monster kitsch are like the big things I cover on this channel. I also am a huge fan of like Victorian science fiction and like Disney stuff, but it doesn't come out as much on this channel. We'll see when I get the new setup, actually, because the Kongs are moving to the Tiki room, which will leave this almost entire shelf open for like putting like Disney stuff and whatever. But yeah, I'm a man of very varied interests, but I know that YouTube likes you to kind of focus on one thing really. So it says the mid-century monster kitchen, classic horror stuff. They also made a second film called Night of Dark Shadows. Cool. There's also a primetime version of Dark Shadows which ran on ABC. Yes, yeah, Dark Shadows was like, yeah, soap opera, spooky soap opera thing. I did not see the Tim Burton movie. when a friend of mine who is like, I forgive Tim Burton for everything and I can't forgive him for this. I was like, whoa, that must be that bad, hey? So, it was actually ABC. I don't know for sure, but Casablanca is my #1 all-time favorite, but the court gesture ranks in the viewing total. Yeah. Casablanca is amazing. I mean, it's one of those like, I find this when like people ask like what are your favorite movies and stuff like that, and it's like, yeah, I have my oddball ones. Like very few people would list Fantasia as their favorite movie, and it is mine. Um, and like Midnight in Paris and The Thief and or not, I was gonna say Thief and the Cobbler, The King and the Mockingbird, and The Adventures of Mark Twain are sort of like all my favorite movies. But people ask like what are the best like Universal monster movies, what are the best like golden age of Hollywood like 1930s movies, and it's like, well, it's really the consensus opinion. Like, yeah, everyone says Bride of Frankenstein because Bride of Frankenstein is a great movie. Everyone says Casablanca because Casablanca is a freaking amazing movie. Citizen Kane is a freaking amazing movie. I didn't get to that before I kind of dropped out of doing my RKO series. um, Casablanca was remade as Barbed Wire. I have not seen Barbed Wire, so I'll have to look into that. But yeah, Casablanca is, I mean, that's a transcendent movie. Like that's beyond just a movie. That is like one of the all-time peak moments of the art form of film. Like Casablanca is so good. Yeah, maybe someday I'll do a video like, ooh, hot takes on Casablanca is a good movie. But actually, a Dark Shadows comic book, yeah, I imagine so. Like Gold Key comic, or like a little more recent than that. Yeah, no, classic movies, good stuff, good stuff. Oh yeah, and showing off another thing I got recently. Speaking of classic movies, Kong. Got Azrak Hamway, Bendy Kong guy, finally adding some more vintage stuff to my collection. And in my unboxing that I'm going to be doing here momentarily, I got another Azrak Hamway Kong thing, showing that off. But I've like been running out of Kong stuff to buy, so I'm getting more into the vintage stuff. So like the classic 1970s Azrak Hamway AHI stuff. There are 4 things they made: a sparking walker, a water gun, a jiggler, and the Bendham guy. I finally got the Bendham guy. Don't know if I'll get all 4 ever, but we'll see. Kong looks like Trog. Yeah, this is like not the best Kong figure. It's definitely more like got kind of that like vintage kitsch outsider art kind of vibe to it. Azrak Hamway based their Kong on the original Aurora model kit Kong. Oh, I think I hear the bride sneaking in. Oh, here's the Dark Shadows thing. It's the shadow of the bride. Oh, no, that's okay. That's her hands. Oh my gosh. Let's see. What is on this thing? This is where you see, like, Cory, you need some bifocals there, hey? So what do we got? Fan favorites: The Vampire Curse, The Haunting of Collingwood, Best of Quentin, Best of Barnabas, Best of Angelique. There we go. So yeah, okay, so The Vampire Curse and The Haunting of Collingwood are the 2 movies that are in this set. So that's, I don't have the House of Dark Shadows and the Night of Dark Shadows. There we go. Okay. Woof. See, don't remember everything. Kong's like schlock. But yeah, they based the AHI based their Kong stuff on the original Aurora model kit Kong. It's, which itself is not like a great rendition of Kong, but it's very distinctive. Like that's how you can tell, like, okay, AHI based it on that, because that's a very distinctive sculpt. Which is fine. It's just, I kind of like it as this sort of like fun kind of recursive thing. Like Aurora makes this kit that these other toy companies copy the Aurora one to make their fun stuff and whatever. But anyways, did you ever see the John Landis film? John Landis, like Dark Shadows film? I'm not sure what you're talking about. Very Canadian there. Hold on. Schlock was made with an ape costume, stolen off the set of 2001. Okay, I will have to look into Schlock. That's interesting. All right, I'm kind of dying to do some unboxing. So we can continue to talk movies. I just want to do some unboxing. So this thing, $30 at freaking GameStop. Whatever this thing is, Pix. I don't know what these are. They're like a next attempt at like Funko Pop type things. But at least I like this design. I didn't like Funko Pops. I didn't like the design of them, and they were too much like modern Pogs. But this looks like it's cute. So there's a risk involved though, because it could have a chase figure. I want the common one, the green normal Gillman. Next chase is like this black and white version. That's okay. I wouldn't mind that one. But then there's like this gold super chase variant that I don't want. So we'll see. We'll see. I realize NECA is hard to come by, but did you ever score the massive Kong on the platform figure? It's about a foot tall-ish. Yes, he is right there. That is where he is. He's hiding behind the NECA one here. The Kong on the platform, that's McFarlane from like 2000. Yes, I do have him. In fact, I got him for $75. Somebody was selling him on Facebook Marketplace. I have a video. Look back at my old videos of unboxing the McFarlane Kong there. That's But yes, I didn't buy him at the time when he came out. I wasn't really a Kong fan back when that figure first came out. But okay. So it's got like this weird zipper thing here, so I guess we have to open it that way. So, yeah, there we go. And what do we got? That was the outer shell. There we go. Looks like I got the color version. Hooray! Nice. So, okay, they put the zipper on as a blind box. So it's blind, and then if you want to keep it in the box, there you go. But I do not collect boxes, I collect toys. So, what is this here? Limited 5,000. Okay, well, I'm glad I have one of 5,000 of these things. I'm sure they'll manage to sell at least 3,000 of them. Let's see. Looks like, oh, this is, oh, it even has a number. This is number, what, 1,864 of the 5,000 of them. So, okay, it's got a little card comes with. Little Pix card there with the limited edition number, and I guess the sculptor of it. But let's pull him out of the box. No, he's strapped in. Oh my gosh. Okay. Let's see, the suspense. The Gillman's adorable, correct. As it happens, I have the Funko Gillman, also the color version. Yours is much cuter, yeah. It's the fact that the Funkos all sort of look the same, have the square head and beady-eyed look. There's only one Funko that I would actually want, and that is the Little Shop of Horrors one, Audrey 2, because it's just like a cartoonish looking version of Audrey. It doesn't look like a Funko Pop. But there we go. That's Creech right there. So let's see. The Gillman appeared in 3 Universal films, correct, and an episode of Abbott and Costello's TV show. But there he is. There's his butt. Cute little Creech butt. Right there. Looking adorable. Yeah, I like this one. It's still got kind of like beady, like black eyes. Black void eyes. But it's not like the Funko sort of like dead-eyed stare thing. It's actually a really cute little Creech figure. I'm not sure if his head actually turns or not. I'm afraid of breaking it. So I'm not going to do anything more with that. But there he is. All right. He should go on the thing here somewhere. Do I have space here beside January Q Irontail? I do. All right. He's going to go up there for now. Clint Eastwood has a bit part in one of the Gillman films. Yes, he is in the second one. Revenge of the Creature. He's like a lab tech in that one. Yeah, he plays a lab tech in that one, and then he's a pilot in, I think, the Monolith Monsters. They're 2 of his like earliest film roles. Chippy Gill, yes. Yeah, he's cute. I like him. He's adorable. I don't know if they make any other Universal Monster ones, but that's all right. I don't feel a need to collect all of them. The only reason I bought this one is because like Gill is like such a distinctive monster, and I thought he would look really cute on my show. So he can go right up there for now until we get the new setup. The creature's design was so creative and ahead of its time. Yes, yeah, it's a great design. And I just checked. I have the blacklight coloration version of the Gillman. Cool. Yeah, Creech is a great design. Creech is one of like the best monster designs out of the 50s. It's like Creech, Godzilla, the Blob, And what's the other one? There's another one that I had in mind is like the best creature designs of the 50s. Oh, I can't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, Creech definitely is right up there. Like, it's no wonder like he succeeded where the other Universal monster movies of the 50s didn't quite make it. Like the Metaluna Mutant didn't quite. Tarantula. That's the one where Eastwood is a pilot, plays a pilot in that one. Yeah, the Mole Man didn't quite make it. Metaluna Mutant didn't quite make it, but Creech, like, right away was like, this is one of the new classic Universal monster movies. Sorry, I'm just getting my next box ready to roll. Just taking off the identifying paperwork here, just in case, so nobody can come and hunt me down. Get off of there. There we go. All right. So I got a box from Japan as well. The creature is really unique, yeah. You can't mistake him for anything else, correct. These monster movies back then kept me on the edge of my seat. Nice. Yep. Yeah, it's the Creech strikes a really nice balance as well, in that he's not too human and he's not too fishy either, because the movie, the way the movie is, what the movie's about, the way the movie's structured and everything, it's about, the creature is like this primordial force of evolution, this thing outside of evolution, this force of life. But you're supposed to feel sympathy and relate to it and stuff like that. So it can't be too monstrous, but it has to be this force outside of nature. So it can't be too human, and I think it strikes a perfect balance between that. Most other like remakes of Creech, like in Dark Universe stuff, start leaning too far towards monstrous, and other fish monsters tend to go too monstrous. Shape of Water did that same balance with the human because the storyline itself required it, but think like Monster Squad went way far in the monster direction. Right? Metaluna was equally weird and unique, but for some reason he never resonated as a real threat or character. Actually, he's not in it long enough. He sort of just pops in as like this thing in the background. The story's not about him. Like Creech from Black Lagoon's about Creech, whereas Metaluna Mutant is just this thing that's there, and the story's more about the giant-headed aliens, right? Gillman was actually a very sympathetic character. Yeah, Gillman is like the only monster where I'm like 100% on the monster side. Like, the monster is totally in the right, the humans are totally in the wrong, especially by the third one. It's like, oh no, those people had it coming. Those people absolutely had it coming. Because the thing, like Creech, he's a representative of nature, right? He's this thing beyond nature, this force of nature. So, he elicits that sympathy. He's just nature. He's not like a monster. He's not like a killer. He's not the Invisible Man. He's not Dracula. He's not even the Wolfman, which is a reluctant monster. He's just not a monster. He's just a creature that humans are messing around with. So, yeah, it's very sympathetic for Creech. All right. Next box is from Japan. Another Bai thing, and it's all Kong at this time. All Kong. Because I'm running out of Kong stuff to buy, even. Like, stuff that's actually out there and available. So, yeah, I like... With Bai, like, they're a proxy bidding service. They, you can buy stuff on Japanese auction sites and stuff like that. And then, it comes to Bai's head office, its warehouse, and it gets stored away, and you can store things for like a month. And then they also do package consolidation, so you buy a bunch of things, consolidate it all together, and they ship it off from their warehouse for like significantly less than if you were shipping each individual item, which is a great service. But yeah, I wait like the full month. I'm like, on Bai, like, okay, I bought one thing, it has arrived at the warehouse, so I have 30 more days before I have to ship this stuff out. So what else can I find? And it wasn't really that much, actually. because again, I am like running out of stuff to buy for King Kong. So, man, by the third one, I was cheering when he got Each of the Scientists. Yeah. Do you think Jack Pierce got exploited by Universal Pictures and hardly got no credit? Yes, but consider the fact that like Creech was designed by Millicent Patrick, who is only getting credit for it now. Because she's a woman, she wasn't given credit for it at the time, really. There's photos of her with like the Creech mask and stuff like that she sculpted, so she was mentioned, but she's never like given like full credit for it. Most of that was claimed by, I think, Bud Westmore at the time. Yeah, I think, I don't know. It's hard. I mean, it's hard to say that he was exploited, like Jack Pierce was exploited, because the whole Hollywood studio system was different from today, right? Today, through the unions and everything else, the workers in Hollywood have much more sort of sway and clout and things like that, whereas whereas back then it was a studio system, right? So Jack Pierce worked for Universal. He was under contract with Universal, and he was the in-house makeup guy. And this week he's working on Dracula. Next week he's working on some historical costume drama. The week after that he's working on some war movie. The week after that he's working on Frankenstein. The week after that he's working on another movie. That's just the way the studio system ran back then. So was he any more exploited than anybody else in the Hollywood studio system? I don't know. Hard to say. Would we consider him exploited at this point? Probably, yeah. But then it's like, you hear about like, Hollywood FX studios that are like, what they go through dealing with the studios and putting together like the special effects for Marvel movies and stuff like that. And it's like, meh. Look at all the money Universal made by merchandising his creations. Yeah. I mean, it would be nice if, a portion of that went to the estates of not just the actors that portrayed them, but also Jack Pierce as well. But then it was also, part of the time, right? Like Jack Pierce, his creations belonged to Universal because he essentially belonged to Universal. He created the look of the Frankenstein monster. Yeah, that is true. All right. So let's see here. What did I get? Actually, I know what I got. Of course, obviously, I know what I bought. Let's see. All right. So first up is that other Azrak Hamway thing that I ordered. Vintage Kong stuff. I find it funny that I had to go to Japanese auction sites to find one of these for an affordable price, because on like eBay this is ridiculously expensive. But this is the Sparking Walker from Azrak Hamway. So you can really see that is the Aurora King Kong model face there. I'm not sure if he's functional, and I don't really want to try it. But this is... I'm too scared. All right. But this is like the original Azrak Hamway model. You can tell by the shape of the key there, and also the fact that his little feet has little toesies on there. So this is like one of the original Azrak Hamway ones. Let's see if it actually has a trademark or anything on it to show for its age. No, but he's in good condition. Got a couple of scratches on his chest. That's about it, really. A little bit of paint weathering, but otherwise he's in really good shape. So that's good. So, in addition to my vintage Kong collection, you can go with my Imperial Kong and my other Azrak Hamway Kong thing there, AHI Kong. As I said, the remaining Azrak Hamway Kong stuff is a jiggler and a water pistol. I'm not sure if I'm ever going to get those. It'll be a lot of just like hunting around, surfing the eBays and Japanese sites and stuff like that to see if anything pops up. In fact, it was this guy popping up that even... Oh, bloody hell. Jeez. Cory, treat your stuff better. Okay, come on. All right. I hope I didn't just break them. Oh my God. Can't have things. I can't have nice things. What's the story here? Okay, no new injuries that I can see. All right. Yeah. What was I even going with this? Just surfing stuff, hoping that he pops up at some point here. God willing. All right. Here's hoping that I didn't actually create any new injuries on him with that little fall there. I'll have to review the footage later and see. But yeah, there he is. All right. So that's good. Stop wrecking your stuff, Cory. Oh my gosh. Can't take me anywhere. Well, so I mean, one of the classics is my when I managed to like break the Mezco 5.XL Mechagodzilla like right out of the box, like right during my unboxing. Next thing, this, the Trick or Treat Studios King Kong mask. That saw this pop up also. Still soft, nice. Pop up on auction site for actually less than he originally sold here. So I had seen him back like 10 years ago or whenever when he actually came out, and it was being sold for like $100 at the local costume shop here, and I bought this for significantly less than that. So there we go. So I got the tag attached there. Nice. By Trick or Treat Studios. Yeah, it is a good likeness. This is why I wanted to buy him. And my plan, hopefully, if I can figure out how to do it well, is to get this foamed. So get this filled with foam, not just stick it on a foam head, because those are apparently really bad for masks. But to get this foamed up, and then I can it's foamed up, and then put a stand in him, and then he can go on that, you know, my big Kong display. Let's see, put it on. All right, let's see here. Oh, I got my glasses on. All right, there we go. I don't know if you can even hear me while I'm wearing this thing, but hi. So I can hear myself caught in here. And if I just mumble, I have to talk louder when I'm wearing this thing, but there we go. I am now Kong. There we go. All right. So this is a new profile pic here. All right. Now I can see. Bride, care to comment? Yeah. Looks fantastic. Good likeness. Yeah, there we go. Kong's getting old. He needs glasses. But yeah, this might be profile pic. I'll have to take a photo of myself with this. Nice. I don't mind this. This is good. You could be on Planet of the Apes. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I can hear the bride laughing upstairs. All right, let's take this thing off so I can actually breathe. Oh, man. So, there we go. All right. Whew. Made it. Okay. So, yeah, that's good. I'm going to have to take a profile pic with this. You should do every live stream like that. I just wear the Kong mask for the entire live stream. I could not wear that for 3 hours straight. I can tell you that much. But there we go. So that is that. Finally got this thing. I'm slowly accumulating my my chosen grails. This is not, well, this is kind of a grail. I mean, this is a thing that, if found for the right price, couldn't pass it up. I have a few other proper grails, but this is going to be kind of the big Kong bust that's going to be sitting on my my shelf, my new Kong shelves. Although I am tempted to like mount him like a trophy head as well, so might do that too. I don't think he'd work with the arm that I got, because Trick or Treat Studios has like this mask display arm that I was using at my store for the Shock Monster mask, which is the one right behind me right up there. Yeah, I don't think it'll work for that, because even then the hand doesn't really, the Helmet style hand doesn't really work for Kong. But yeah, well, I'll figure something out, and hopefully I don't destroy him in trying to foam him properly, but yeah, that'll be a project. Oh my God, the glasses did it. I broke it. Nice. Yep. Nice mask, lots of detail. Yeah, this is great. I like this mask. This is money well spent on this one. And so I'm glad that I paid less for it than it was originally being sold for around here. So that's awesome. All right. That's the peak thing that I got in this shipment as well, because the remaining thing isn't really going to be much. It's just a piece of cardboard. It is just a mere lowly, if I can actually get it out, Japanese copy of the book. So that is all that is. I'll put you down there. Just a Japanese copy of the book. It's got some fun art on there. I like the mid-century vibe of it. It'll go with the Japanese part of my collection, alongside the King Kong Escape stuff and the Kiko Son of Kong stuff. Get a little stand for it. Oh, there was a picture. Hold on. There we go. Oh, they're going through the jungle. Wait, where's the... There. Yeah, come on. They're going through the jungle right there. Yeah, otherwise this is what it looks like. So I don't read Japanese. I don't read kanji. So unfortunately I won't be able to read it firsthand. Oh, and they're rafting across, fighting the dinosaur in the swamp. King Kong novelization. This is the Japanese translation. Oh, there we go. Of the 1932 novelization. So the Delos Lovelace novelization. This is a Japanese translation of it. So that's yeah. Huh. That's interesting. Looks almost like the 76 Kong right there. That other picture is obviously 33 Kong. So that's not too bad. Oh, hold on. Back it up. There we go. Ah, fighting the pterodactyl. Oh, looks like him knocked out there. They're capturing him. It's weird that the drawings aren't consistent with how they depict Kong. It's like there are these different influences for each photo. There he is breaking out of the cage, which is what he was in the novelization. So novelization predates the movie, so some things are a little bit different. And there he is, atop the Empire State Building. And is there a final photo in here? Final image? Nope. Nope, that's it. All right, cool. Well, there we go. Nice little Japanese novelization there, just for a little something different. I forget, did I show off the stamps that I bought? I forget how long ago I bought those. Because I did pick up the Fay Ray stamps. I forget if I showed this or not, so I'll do it again. But like 20 years ago, Canada produced stamps of Canadian actors, including Fay Ray. She was born here in southern Alberta. So I picked up those. There's also a postcard that I have somewhere, but wasn't really thinking about it too much. So if I can find another one of those postcards, I will. I'll buy it as well. But I added those stamps there. I'm getting down to like other weird stuff, like stamps and things like that for my collection, because it's like I've exhausted all of the action figures and like collectible stuff like that. So now it's into like stamps and masks and that sort of thing. As real Fergus, nice photos. Did you see the Mighty Peking Man? It was a Chinese version of King Kong. It was also known as Goliathon. I think I've seen Mighty Peking Man, because there was like this whole batch of movies in the like the 70s that were cashing in on the 1976 King Kong. So like Queen Kong was one of them. I watched that. APE, watched that one. I think that's the that has the giant monkey flipping the bird. Um, not sure if I've seen Mighty P. King Man. Can't remember. Fay Wray made many other films besides King Kong. Yes, she did. My other favorite film of hers besides King Kong is The Vampire Bat, um, which is a non-Universal movie, but it's like, I think it's right up there in quality with the Universal films. Also has Lionel Atwill in it, and Montgomery. I don't remember his name. And Dwight Fry is in it. Let me actually just bring it up here. Who else is in The Vampire Bat? The Vampire Bat cast. Melvin Douglas. There we go. Melvin Douglas, who was also in The Old Dark House, was in The Vampire Bat. I'm not as impressed with Mystery of the Wax Museum and Dr. X. I know that like Dark Corners just did a review of those two films and like them, but they don't really do it for me. I think the 2-strip Technicolor kind of weirds me out too much. It doesn't, maybe I have to sit down and watch them again. I have Dr. X, but yeah, they didn't really do it for me, unfortunately. Fay Wray also in Most Dangerous Game. She's all right in that one. I mean, she's kind of a prop more so in that one. Black Moon, which is an okay movie, but has a great poster. The poster for Black Moon is fantastic. She's in that one as well. Peking Man was made by Shaw Studios, primarily known for martial arts films. Cool. Yeah, no, Fay Wray's great. She's classic, you know. Weirdly enough, I actually like Helen Mack more. So Helen Mack, Son of Kong. I like her a lot. Compared to her, Fay Wray is kind of limp as a character. Helen Mack's character is a bit more fiery, a bit more fun. But yeah, but Fay Wray's grown on me a lot, and I like her, and I've investigated more of her life and go down to Cardston and see where she was born and all this sort of stuff here in Southern Alberta. So I get to, I'm feeling more connected with her. And, I wish that I had the opportunity to meet her. Because she was here in 1993 when the town of Cardston was doing these, was doing the 90th anniversary, or whatever it was, 60th anniversary of King Kong. And they had invited Fay Wray back to the town to promote and sign copies of her autobiography, which I have down here somewhere. Yeah, there it is. Her autobiography, and to officiate at a showing of the film. And I'm old enough that I could have gone. I could have bugged my parents, like, "Oh my God, Fay Wray is going to be in Cardston. We got to go down and we got to meet her, and I want to get her book and sign my book and go see the movie with her there." But I was young and dumb. 93, I would have been 15. So young and dumb, and wasn't into King Kong. I thought old movies were dumb at that age. Oh, if I had known. If I had known that old movies would become my life, I would have bugged my parents relentlessly to let's go to Cardston and meet Fay Wray. Missed that opportunity, sadly. But no, I've grown into liking Fay Wray more as an actress and as a screen beauty, the original screen queen. Which there's some trivia for you as well, that Fay Wray's Scream was in more movies than she was. So I think my favorite appearance of her Scream was in Flying Down to Rio, which, if you watched my alternate ending to King Kong, there's a scene of Flying Down to Rio where, which is the first Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers movie, and it stars Dolores Del Rio. But they're doing like this dance routine on airplanes, and this one girl falls and is caught by another plane. And when she screams when she falls, that's Fay Wray's scream. That was stock screaming from Fay Wray that they reused in that movie. I was like, that sounds familiar. And so, yeah. The Vampire Bat was one of those films where the supernatural elements turn out to be... Hey, no spoilers! No spoilers! Come on. Don't forget The Most Dangerous Game. Yeah. Most Dangerous Game was filmed on the same sets as King Kong. Yes. And by the same director. Yeah. So, Most Dangerous Game. So, how it worked, having done the research on this, how it worked is that RKO Pictures, they had a set budget limit for movies. And King Kong's budget, this was after, so Bird of Paradise, so we'll make it the story of Bird of Paradise. Bird of Paradise, 1932, goes tremendously over budget. And so RKO was like, well, crap. We have to put in some limits to what a director can do. And they put a budget cap on every movie. And the budget cap they put on these movies was way less than King Kong needed. So they did some like funny accounting, and they sort of covertly used the budget from other movies for King Kong. And one of the ways they did that is they used the Most Dangerous Game's budget to build the jungle sets and to pay the actors originally. So between takes on Most Dangerous Game, they did filming of jungle scenes for King Kong that they didn't have a complete script yet for King Kong, but they knew they were going to have these scenes. You know, just film a bunch of extras running through the jungle. No problem, right? So between takes on Most Dangerous Game, they were filming these jungle scenes for King Kong, using Most Dangerous Game's budget to do that. So that was sort of some of the funny accounting they did to make up that shortfall, because King Kong was way more expensive than the budget cap that RKO had. So that's what was going on with that. And yeah, and it was Ernest Schoedsack was the director for Most Dangerous Game, Miriam C. Cooper stepping in as producer to also direct those King Kong bits in between the shots of Most Dangerous Game. And apparently Cooper like frequently went over time with what he was shooting, which was pissing off Ernest Schoedsack, who's like, I need to get finished making Most Dangerous Game. Like, come on, Miriam, seriously, you're killing me here. So that's the story behind Most Dangerous Game and its connection with King Kong. What about Mighty Joe Young? That was made by the same filmmakers who worked on King Kong. Yes, but like decades later, a decade and a bit later. Mighty Joe Young is the 40s. Yeah, Mighty Joe Young is okay. I don't really particularly like it. The best part about Mighty Joe Young is like the tiki bar at the end. That's the best part of it. That's more like I would like to go drinking there, as opposed to like I enjoy this movie. It's like King Kong, but like really tame. Like Joe is, a good noble character, and the humans are obviously bad, whatever else. And I don't know. It's a lot tamer of a film than King Kong. So I'm not really a huge fan of Mighty Joe Young. But it is what it is. It's okay. It's not bad, but I wouldn't say it's great either. It just is what it is. But anyways, that's my unboxings. That's all I had. The box from Japan there with the mask and the Azra Camway guy there. My Guild Man that I just bought here earlier. He's like fully standing on that one foot. Looks like. I don't know. He's got a bit of other foot. Okay. Sorry, figuring that out. And I also bought like a display case for those Azra Camway things. Because I want to kind of keep them under glass, keep them together as part of that vintage collection thing. Plus, once we finally move into the new place, we might be getting a new dog as well. And this dog is known for having problems dealing with being alone in a house. So I want to kind of protect some of my stuff as best I can. Someone did a remake of Mighty Joe Young. Nobody really liked it. Yeah, Disney did that remake of Mighty Joe Young. Charlize Theron was in it. Okay, sure. Joe is a fine mind candy movie on its own, but it should never be compared to Kong. They're very different films. Yes, they are. Mighty Joe Young is like sanitized Kong, which is funny to me, insofar as like originally Cooper wanted King Kong to be like just this totally vicious, uh, horrible brute monster, and it was Marcel Delgado and Willis O'Brien who argued to humanize Kong and make him more sympathetic, as opposed to just this killing machine that Cooper wanted. And then, decades later, you get to Mighty Joe Young, and it's like this totally humanized gorilla. And he's just like this fun, happy, like great character. It's like Cooper did like a complete like 180 from what he originally wanted for King Kong with Mighty Joe Young. So I find that part entertaining. But yeah, I don't. Other than the fact that it's made by like Miriam C. Cooper and Willis O'Brien, I don't think you can compare Mighty Joe Young. It's a totally different film than King Kong, for sure. Ever see Planet of the Dinosaurs? Probably, but I can't remember off the top of my head if I have or not. If if I looked at the plot, I may remember it. Might jog my memory. For as many movies as I have seen, there's a lot that I haven't. A lot of those mid-century monster kitsch movies that I have not seen. And I want to. I would like to see as many as I can. Just haven't got around to them all. And sometimes I don't remember if I have even seen one or not. So there's times I've even blocked out when I've seen a movie. And, watch it again, and it's just the only comment in the movie is me from a year before saying I hated this movie. So, I block them out sometimes. Mighty Joe Young was definitely geared more towards kids. Yes, it was. Absolutely. Yep. Family friendly. Because, it's a reaction. I see Mighty Joe Young as like a reaction to the fame of King Kong. King Kong over time gets this reputation, gets built up, gets gassed up. And people unexpectedly having sympathy for the gorilla in it. And so that transforms how people watch King Kong, and transformed even like Cooper's perspective on King Kong. And so it makes sorry, grabbed the Transformer playing with him. So it changes how Mighty Joe Young is made, right? Mighty Joe Young is like this reaction to the fame and sympathy that people have for King Kong. And so he makes this like nice, fun, happy gorilla character in Mighty Joe Young. So yeah, I guess I see Mighty Joe Young a lot more as like a reaction to King Kong, as opposed to like a real movie in its own right. And it's just, yeah, it's so much tamer. There's so much less going on in Mighty Joe Young thematically than there is in King Kong. And yeah, I mean, like I said, for me, the best part of Mighty Joe Young was the tiki bar. So, Planet Dinosaurs is very low budget, but had good dinosaurs. Okay, well, as long as it has good dinosaurs, that's the main thing. Who's watching a dinosaur movie for the plot, right? So, you can almost see Prima there, hiding out behind the stream logo. Put him right there. Yeah, oh, my head is itchy now after putting on that mask. Okay. Yeah, so there we go. Enjoying the movie talk. Where are we at here? We've been at it for just over an hour. Oh, that's like nothing compared to what we're usually doing for a live stream. I just ran out of stuff to unbox. So now we have to go back to talking topics. Oh no. I was going to have more to unbox as well, because I had just ordered from a Canadian website the McFarlane Toys Golden Age Wonder Woman and the Wesley Dodds Sandman figures, because I decided that I was tired of hounding all of the toy stores, all of the GameStops, all the other local toy stores, hoping and dreaming and praying that the toy I want shows up. I'm just like, you know what, forget it. I am just going to buy them from this website. And they were supposed to arrive like yesterday or today, and they didn't. So maybe tomorrow they'll show up. I was hoping to have them for the live stream. But yes, finally got Golden Age Wonder Woman to match Golden Age Superman, Golden Age Batman, which are hanging out with the monsters again, and the Wesley Dodds Sandman to go with them as well. Stopping short of collecting the entire Justice Society, because I did have the Jay Garrick Flash, but I sold him off because I decided, I didn't want to collect all of the Golden Age characters, just, Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, and Sandman. They made Sandman. They got an Hourman figure coming out that I'm not going to bother getting. If they did like a Golden Age Dr. Fate, that would be cool. But I don't think they're going to do that. I did get the the modern Captain Marvel, but I would love a Golden Age Captain Marvel. If they could do like a proper Golden Age one, that would be great. But I did get him just as sort of a placeholder in the meantime. Someday I'd like to get that, but then Someday is running out for McFarlane. Someday is ending pretty soon. They're losing the license for DC. So, what about 20,000 million miles to Earth? I think it was a very underrated film. Yes, the Ymir. Yeah, it's good. It's fine. I don't think of it as like a favorite film. I mean, I have a history with Ray Harryhausen as well. I think I've mentioned this before, but at a formative age, when I was really like getting into Godzilla, I read an interview with Harryhausen where he crapped on Godzilla and said, "Oh, it's just this lame copy of Beast from 20,000 Fathoms," and Godzilla sucks. And I was like, Harryhausen, nuts to you. Godzilla's awesome. Godzilla is way better than Beast from 20,000 Fathoms. I kind of had this like grudge against Ray Harryhausen for a long time. Now I can put that aside. Whatever, he's dead and it doesn't matter anymore. But yeah, 20 Million Miles to Earth is okay. It's all right. There's no like Harryhausen films that I feel like I love, like love. If I was gonna pick a favorite Harryhausen film, it would probably be Mysterious Island, just because it's a Jules Verne film. First Men in the Moon is also pretty good. Despite being H.G. Wells, it's still pretty good. So I would say those are probably my two favorite ones. Two favorite Harryhausen films. Yeah. But anyways. Let's see. Golden Age Wonder Woman and Dog Sandman look great. I've seen photos, only wish I had the budget. Yeah. Yeah, I those were like the two figures that I wanted McFarlane to make before they lost the license. I thought it would have been a huge loss to have had Golden Age Superman and Golden Age Batman and not have Golden Age Wonder Woman. Like, kind of, you got to complete the Trinity there. And then after I saw the Question figure, I was like, okay, come on. You have the trench coat body. You just need to put a gas mask on it, and it's the Sandman. Like, come on. Get on with it already. So I'm glad that he did that and took the easy road and made that figure. I almost bought the Question, and I realized, it's not really the Question that I wanted. It was the Sandman that I wanted. Guy with the trench coat and the fedora. So I'm glad that he pulled that out before losing the line altogether. There's other ones that I would have bought. Like, it was tough to walk out of the store and not buy Jonah Hex. Because I don't anymore, but I used to read Jonah Hex comic. So it was tough to walk out of the store and not buy Jonah Hex. And then, like, Cowboy Batman, the new Cowboy Batman figure, is hilarious. I kind of want to get it just because it's so weird, like Cowboy Batman. And it would have gone great with Jonah Hex. So, I don't know. It reminded me a lot of like that Justice Riders Elseworlds comic that was like Justice League International in the Old West. So Cowboy Batman was good. I thought about, do I want to get like the Adam West Batman figure? Because there's like, McFarlane has done like the 6-inch figures for Batman and the new Batman Adventures and Super Friends and all that stuff. But he also did the Multiverse 7-inch figure of the Adam West Batman. Thought, should I get him? But it's like, I don't, like I said, I only like just rewatched some episodes of Adam West Batman like recently, like really recently. So I can't say that I'm like enough of a fan to want to buy the figure. But then that said, if I do keep watching more of it and enjoy it, then I will want the figure. So I don't know. But Should I get it? Should I not? I don't know. The bride will say don't because you don't need to buy more toys, Cory. Um, but I don't know. I don't know. Adam West Batman would go with those as well. Um, Adam West Batman and Fleischer Superman fighting the Frankenstein monster or something like that. Um, or put Adam West Batman opposite of Vincent Price right there as well, something like that. I don't know. The fun with these figures, I'm loving 7-inch figures is you can mix and match them and have like fun, like having all these characters together doing shenanigans and having little adventures. I wish I could justify buying like the Mezco like $200 like super big Kong figure because I would love to have Kong mixed in with these guys too. Have Kong like holding the Bride of Frankenstein, something like that. But um, yeah, I don't know. Lots of stuff I'd love to buy if I had the money. He says having just unboxed a whole bunch of stuff, but that's the problem, right? I'm buying all this other stuff too. So I don't. I need to get choosy, especially as I'm moving into like a house, being like a homeowner. I have to be choosy about what I'm actually collecting anymore. But the massive collection that you see behind me here, massive collection, was really started as a COVID project. So it's like, oh yeah, adult responsibilities are back. So um, let's see. We need a Golden Age Talkie-Tawny. Yeah. After they do Golden Age, Captain Marvel, then they can do Talkie-Tawny as well, or maybe like a 2-pack, right? Talkie-Tawny and Captain Marvel, and then put a Mr. Mind in there as a little thing as well. But that would be great if McFarlane was keeping the license, but it's going back to Mattel, so we'll see what happens there. If Mattel could make figures of the same quality as the Masterverse, like Master of the Universe ones, then I think they'd be fine. Because I have some of those Masterverse figures, so you don't see them. They're up above me here. They're up there. We're right up there. You can see there's sort of He-Man and Skeletor is right there. If they could make DC figures of that same quality, then I might be tempted to carry on and buying some of those ones if it's a character that I want. But otherwise, yeah, no, it's unfortunate that the McFarlane lost the license too soon for making some of those things like a Golden Age Captain Marvel and Talkie-Tawny and whatever. Sad what they did to Captain Marvel in the recent films. I actually haven't seen those ones. No, we did see Shazam. Right, we did see Shazam. It was okay. I mean, I don't know. It was all right. Captain Marvel was a hard character to do because he's so wholesome, and he was originally just like a Superman clone as well. So, but yeah, I used to watch like I picked a like because every week every weekend my parents would take me down to the video rental store, and I got to rent stuff, and I rented the old like 1960s Shazam cartoon a few times, and I enjoyed it. The Big Red Cheese, Shazam, Captain Marvel, fighting Mr. Mind, Dr. Savannah, stuff like that. Black Adam. So I don't know. Anyways, yeah, I'm not like I'd like the figure. I'm not like super attached to any particular rendition of Captain Marvel though. So I don't know. The movie was okay. that's the whole story. I've forgotten those films. Yeah, most people have. Jason the Argonauts was jaw dropping. That's true. They should have remade the 1940s movie serial of Batman or Captain Marvel. The movie they made about Jonah Hex was forgettable. Yes, it was. Jonah Hex would be great for a weird Western, but maybe not like that. I'm not sure what. But I mean, weird Westerns are a hard one to do, right? Like Lone Ranger is a weird Western. It's actually good. I enjoy Lone Ranger. It's got its flaws, sure. It's a bit long. But I liked the Lone Ranger movie. They're like Gore Verbinski with Johnny Depp and Armie Hammer. I like that one. And it could have been weirder. Like originally it was going to have like Were Coyotes. That's why like Lone Ranger uses silver bullets because he was fighting like werewolves and were-coyotes and whatever. The 1960s Lone Ranger cartoon is a great weird western. But yeah, Jonah Hex, if they based off like the Joe Lansdale comics, would have been good. But Adam West Batman is my favorite. It's the Batcave Robin. Holy nostalgia, Batman. Sorry, Miss Frankie's not a blonde, but not Khan's type. Maybe, but I just have this vision of like, Kong climbing up the bookshelf with the bride, or with the Bride of Frankenstein, and the Frankenstein monster is like, what the heck? Reenacting that scene, but with the bride. So, and my bride says, I adore the Adam West Batman. Well then, maybe I have permission to buy it. I don't know. It would feel weird to have the figure and not have like the DVDs of the show. I don't know. But then it's like, do I feel like I have the time or the desire to sit down and watch like an entire series? Not really. I actually had DVDs of the Batman animated series, and I sold it off again because I'm just like, I don't have time to sit and watch all of this. There's a handful of really good episodes that I would rewatch, like Heart of Ice. But I don't have the patience, the time, the desire to like sit and watch an entire series. So I don't know. Whatever. Anyways. Ape versus Queen Kong. Who's the worst? Well, Queen Kong is a more distinctive movie than Ape. Like I could not recall what the plot of Ape was. Queen Kong, I could tell you in detail what happened in it. So at least there's that. But Queen Kong is also such a cringe movie. Like, it is so cringe. It's got that dated 70s gender comedy in it, if you can call it comedy. That is just like I puckered up watching it. So I don't know. I have been tempted to get the Medicom Queen Kong figure though that they produced, the little mini vinyl figure they made, just because it's Kong stuff. But then I'm like, why do I want a Queen Kong thing when Queen Kong is a terrible movie? So I haven't got that one, and I God willing, never will. So let's see. Shazam was a remake of Big. That makes sense. They gave Dr. Savannah the same powers as Shazam in the movie. Yeah. It's too bad they didn't get to Mr. Mind. But I will say, though, I have seen like the post-credit scene from the second Shazam movie where they have Mr. Mind in it again, and that's actually really funny. Because knowing that, the Snyderverse was over and there wasn't going to be another Shazam movie, they played that dangling plot thread really well. So I'll give them that. But it's like Mr. Mind, because Mr. Mind is like such a weird character. It's like his arch nemesis is a caterpillar. Okay, sure. Lone Ranger cartoon reminding Wild Wild West. Yeah, and that was on purpose. Like, Lone Ranger came out after Wild Wild West and was like, hey, weird western is like the thing now. So let's do a cartoon of Lone Ranger as a weird western, and it's awesome. I love, was it the Monster of Smuggler's Cove or something like that? The one with like the pirate with the Nautilus is awesome. I love that episode. That's my favorite episode. You do have the time. The bride narks me out. Maybe, but then I'd have to stop arguing with people on Facebook. So, back in the day. Mask of Phantasm was really good. I said, Batman the Animated Series is fantastic. Batman the Animated Series was great. It was so well done. And, I think if you were going to try and pin me down to, like, hey, what is the definitive Batman? I would say it's the animated series. I would say that's the thing I would point to like show people like, this is Batman. This is who Batman is. This is what Batman's about. Fundamentally. Not that there aren't other good versions of Batman. The Tim Burton movie's good. Dark Knight is good. The Batman is good. The Adam West Batman is fun in its own way. Batman Brave and the Bold cartoon is fun in its own way. But Batman the Animated Series is like consistently the best version of Batman. So yeah. Queen Kong's a musical? Correct. You can call it that. There's also an animated version of King Kong that has musical numbers. Yes, there is! Oh my god. Yes, I have a review of it. In fact, actually, my review of it and the stage musical is is it possible to make a good King Kong musical? Because both of them are bad. Both of them are so bad. And I feel, I mean, the Broadway musical, sure, okay, whatever. Who cares if it's bad? I did like the puppet, though. The Kong puppet for the Broadway musical is amazing looking. It's just you would have had to sit through the rest of the freaking musical to see it. The cartoon, it was a direct-to-video movie, so you weren't expecting great production values out of it. If they wanted to, they could have done something like Batman the Animated Series. It came out around the same time. And it's by Warner Brothers. So, like, they really could have done a more stylized King Kong cartoon in the style of Batman the Animated Series. Because Batman the Animated Series has this great stylized kind of Art Deco sort of thing going on. If they had done the Kong movie in that style, it would have been a lot better. This would have had some redeeming artistic value. And the thing is, like, you'd think it's got Jodie Benson in it. The Little Mermaid is the voice of Ann Darrow. Dudley Moore as the voice of Carl Denham. It's got music by the Sherman Brothers. Like, the Sherman Brothers! How did this movie end up so bad? It was just the writing, I don't know. It was just so disappointing. Even in the context of, like, oh yeah, it's some direct-to-video movie, so we don't expect it to be good. But, like, it's so not good. And 2 years ago, at our comic convention, the Comic Expo here in Calgary, I was walking around the dealer's room and walked past the Celebrity Zoo and saw Jodie Benson there. And that's the only time I've ever actually been tempted to, like, pay to get someone's autograph, was to get Jodie Benson's autograph and actually chat her up, and maybe she would let me film it for the channel. Chat her up about the King Kong movie. What the hell happened with it? Like, what was it like to be one of only 3 actresses to play Ann Darrow in film? What was the experience like? Was it like working with the Sherman Brothers, to the extent that she work with them, or just get this music handed to her? And then what did she think of the finished product, and why is it bad? But unfortunately, I thought, even though no one was there, no one was getting her autograph, I thought, I'm terrible with celebrities and terrible with talking to people in real life, believe it or not. That, I'm gonna I'll pass on that. I just, like, looked from afar. Yeah, it's Jodie Benson. If I had my wits about me, I would have found a copy of the King Kong animated thing just to have her sign it. But even though the movie itself was awful. It was for kids. Kong survives the fall from the Empire State Building. Yep. You can watch it online. It's online, like, officially, as well. And there's, like, this terrible sort of pan and scan version. But it is. If I had kids that misbehave, I'd punish them and make them watch the animated Kong cartoon. It'd be child abuse, yeah. It's not a child crime the first time. At least King Kong didn't sing. Yeah, there's that. I would have liked to have seen that one. That would have been like that time Godzilla and Curious talked. Yeah. Yep. I think it's, what is it? Invasion of Astro Monster, where they talk. And it's just sort of this, like, sounds coming out with these, like, cartoon, like, speech balloons. Yeah. It's something. It is something. Yeah. Making Godzilla talk is not necessarily a choice I would have made either. But, what do I know? I'm not the one who's making these movies, so whatever. But sorry, just playing with this guy again. Not bored, I'm just fidgety, is all. I just stand up that way. Cool. Godzilla versus Gigan is where, Anguirus and Godzilla talk. Yeah. In Invasion of Astro Monster, it's when Mothra is trying to talk Godzilla and Rodan into helping out humankind. And Godzilla's like, humans are always mean to me. Which is like, okay, I guess that's a choice. I'm pretty sure it's that. Was it Invasion of Astro Monster that they're talking? Or is it Gigan? Or is it both? Oh, now I'm doubting myself. It's been a while since I watched them all. I don't get to watch as many movies as I used to, because I'm not sitting at my store all day with nothing to do but watch movies. But anyways, Godzilla talking is not a choice that I would make in a film. But whatever. No one's asking me anyways. Oh, dead air. I just spilled water on my mouse. Uh-oh, nobody's saying nothing. That was in Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster. Okay. Alright. Yes, okay. Yes. I think I would remember that better, because Invasion of Astro Monster is one of my favorite Godzilla movies. I remember the actual dialogue with Jet Jaguar, maybe Mothra Rodan, but no word balloons. Oh, Godzilla, what language? Yeah. Yeah, okay. Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster. Alright, that makes sense. Which, weirdly don't remember that, though. Like, which movie it is, because Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster was, like, the one Godzilla VHS tape I had as a kid. They were hard to come by, but found a copy of Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster and talked my parents into buying it for me. So that was the one Godzilla movie I had on VHS as a kid. And then later on, as a young adult, teenager and young adult, getting into the proper, true Godzilla movies. Monster Zero is the one where Godzilla does the victory dance, yes. I almost actually bought the Bandai soft vinyl of Godzilla in the pose, in the dance pose. But I decided, you know what, I don't really need it. I don't really like collect the Bandai Movie Monster series soft vinyls. I've got a couple of them, but I don't really collect them, and I shouldn't really start. So I passed up buying that one, but I still might buy it again at a later date, who knows. Are you a fan of Godzilla vs. Megalon? Fan is a strong word. It's got cool monsters in it. Like, Megalon's a great monster. It's got Gigan in it. Gigan's great. Jet Jaguar, I don't have as much love for. I can't help but see Jet Jaguar as just like this crappy knockoff of Ultraman. So I don't have a ton of love for Jet Jaguar. And I don't have a ton of love for like the 70s movies. Like, Godzilla vs. Hedorah is great. That's one of my favorite Godzilla movies. But the ones after that, like, I don't know, the 70s just don't have the same vibe as the 60s movies. They start losing like the fun retrofuturist, plus 70s styles like really gross anyways, and 70s cinematography is kind of gross. So I'm not as big a fan of the 70s movies. Even though the 70s movies are some of the greatest monsters, right? Like Megalon is a great monster, Mechagodzilla is a great monster. Yeah. But I did think that Mezco, before they lost the license, they should have done a Godzilla vs. Megalon set. Because that would have given us Jet Jaguar, Megalon, and Gigan, as well as another Godzilla. But they didn't get around to it, unfortunately. Which I guess is fine, because now I have a complete set of the 5-point XL figures. But yeah. I don't know. It's okay. It's not one of my favorites, but it has like some classic Godzilla moments, right? The drop kick and whatnot. The drop kick is great. I'm surprised they've got to be making a soft vinyl Movie Monster series, one of those. They have to make one of the drop kick. I don't know if you guys saw the animated, the recent the Godzilla Day animation of Godzilla versus Megalon, the CGI one, where they actually like do the drop kick again, but they actually gave it like a bit more of a rationale. Like he's pushes himself off with energy out of his spines, and that gives him the drop kick. So that was pretty inventive. Um, let's see, love Godzilla versus Megalon, Johnny Sokko and a giant robot. What about the one where Godzilla fought a monster made of pollution? That's, yeah, versus Hedorah. I love that movie. That's a great movie. Um, because it's so different. And it's not just because, like, the monster is different. Or, oh, this one's about pollution. Like, it's experimenting with how to do a Godzilla film. Like, what can you do with a Godzilla film? So it's got, like, these weird dance numbers in it, like these musical things. It's got these animated sequences, and it's like some biting satire of politics and stuff in it. I think it's one of the more inventive Showa era Godzilla films, and the monster is great. Hedorah is a great monster. Hedorah is one of my favorite monsters now for Godzilla. In fact, if you were to like really pin me down as to like who's your favorite enemy of Godzilla, I mean, I like Mothra in general, anyways. Like Mothra is my favorite kaiju, even more so. Excuse me, even more so than Godzilla. It's like Mothra then Godzilla, and then well, like Mechanicon, but he's a Kong enemy. He's not a Godzilla enemy, and like Hedorah. Hedorah is my favorite opponent of Godzilla. Like, you know, Ghidorah, I could take or leave. Like, Ghidorah doesn't really do much for me, but Hedorah is great. I really like Hedorah. And you know that there's all this speculation flying around right now about Shin Godzilla 2, and who's Shin Godzilla gonna fight? It's like, well, Shin Godzilla doesn't have to fight anybody, or the movie's just about Shin Godzilla continuing to evolve. But if I was gonna try and pick out like who would be a good monster that already exists to fight Shin Godzilla, I would go with Hedorah because you could do something with that thematically. But whatever. Yeah, Hedorah is great. I like Hedorah, the movie and the monster. Love the dropkick. I will forever imagine that poor kitten at the end of the disco scene covered in sludge. I know. Poor cat. One of the producers of Godzilla was incensed when he saw Godzilla vs. Hedorah. Ooh, was incensed by it. He had the director banned from Toho Studios. Well, you know what? Sure, okay, it's very different from other Godzilla films, but that's what makes it good, is that it is so inventive, it is so different, and took some risks. But then, you know, this is coming from the guy who just did a video on the Reiwa era and why doing all these weird, like, art house experimental Godzilla films is great. So, Shin Godzilla's getting a re-release in a few weeks. Gonna see it on the big screen. I should look into see if it's coming out here, if it's showing here at all. So it'd be nice to see it in the theater again. So we did see it in the theater the first time. But see the 4K remaster would be good. Everyone's a critic. And the bride asked a question that I just sort of avoided because we got discussing versus Megalon and versus Hedorah. So, what is a random movie that people might be surprised you liked? Lone Ranger, John Carter. But those aren't really surprising if you know me. Treasure Planet, Atlantis, The Lost Empire. But again, if you know me, they wouldn't be surprising. Of Mice and Men. It's like, wait, that's just a normal drama movie. Care Bears, the movie, which is nightmare fuel. Again, pick any given Disney one, unless you know me. I mean, Casablanca, because it's just a normal drama movie. What's my most favorite movies people haven't even heard of? So, like The King and the Mockingbird, Midnight in Paris, Adventures of Mark Twain. Fantasia would be surprising just because it's not anybody's pick for favorite movie. I'm trying to think. Busby Berkeley musicals. Honolulu with Eleanor Powell. I don't know. Hard for me to say. What would be the most surprising movie I like? Somebody would not be expecting. Because I don't know what somebody else would be surprised by. Oh, that question's going to haunt me now. What is my most surprising movie that I like? I don't even remember movies that I like. Godzilla versus Hedorah might be surprising to some people. Invasion of Astro Monster be surprising for some people. The Godzilla anime trilogy because everybody else hates it. I don't know. Think about that. Did you ever see Excalibur? I did not. The king and the land are one. Gem? Gem is excitement too. Gem. Didn't see the movie of Gem, though. Gem the cartoon is great. It's a very slice of 80s. They really need to make Gem G.I. Joe classified figures. I would absolutely buy Gem as a G.I. Joe classified figure. Tried to make her, in fact, out of a Baroness figure, but it didn't work out. So, Mark Twain, is that the claymation? It's not a TV special. It's actually a feature film. But yes, it is the claymation one. Adventures of Mark Twain, the claymation film, is amazing. It is like one of those things that's like ostensibly a children's film, but it is so profound and subtle and nuanced that there's a lot there to recommend it for adults even. Because it's drawing from the works of Mark Twain. Most of what Mark Twain says in it are actually quotes from Mark Twain. And the selection of stories that they use, like they don't just default to Tom Sawyer and Huck Finn. They're characters in the movie, but the stories that they use, Celebrated Jumping Frog, yeah. Then there's like the Diary of Adam and Eve, the Mysterious Stranger. They're picking these interesting films because the whole movie is like this meditation on death and finality and how to live before you die and all sort of stuff. What is the meaning of life and love and relationships and things like that. It's this really profound movie done in claymation with a flying paddle wheeler. Like it's such a bizarre film, and it's amazing film. And it's that and the Mark Twain Riverboat at Disneyland I credit with making me a fan of Mark Twain, who is my favorite American author. Yeah, it's just such an amazing movie and oddly profound movie you would not expect. Like Helen Mirren as Morgan Le Fay. Nobody liked the movie about Gem. Yeah, that movie wasn't Gem. In all of the rash of all these different things that they've remade now, how they've made a version of, a remake of My Little Pony that was then appropriated by adults, bringing back G.I. Joe, bringing back Transformers, these big budget Michael Bay Transformers movies, Ninja Turtles, He-Man's got a movie coming out, remaking new cartoon versions periodically. I am surprised that Gem has never made a comeback because, okay, you have a girl and she uses a hologram to become like a pop superstar. Like, that's a license to print money. Like, are you kidding me? That is like every girl's fantasy. Like every like little girl, every teenage girl's fantasy is like you just adopt this other persona and you're like a superstar. You're Taylor Swift, right? You use Showtime synergy and now suddenly you're Taylor Swift. That is licensed to print money. How Hasbro had not figured that out is like beyond me. But then Hasbro is like... Hasbro doesn't seem to understand much lately. They're doing Transformers all right. G.I. Joe Classified's all right. But in terms of like how they're actually managing the IPs beyond like those toy lines is a little bit odd. At least the Energon Universe comic books are really good, but I feel like that's not due to Hasbro. that's due to Skybound Comics. Yeah, it's just like how have they not clued in to what they could do with Gem and how they could print money with Gem? Right? Yeah, I don't know. But anyways, I like Gem. Gem's fun. And they did do a reference to her recently on the packaging for the G.I. Joe Classified Cold Slither set of the Dreadnought rock band. They had like the posters. The packaging looks like the Springfield Arena, and they have posters on there for coming soon, Gem and the Misfits. But anyways, Mark Twain tended to use language that would be offensive today. Ironically, he was an abolitionist during the period he was a writer. Yeah. yeah, I mean, while Twain was writing to his time period and how people spoke, which included the racially insensitive terminology. But yeah, anyways. Some of his books have been removed from libraries. Yep. How about Josie and the Pussycats? I never got into Josie and the Pussycats, so I don't know. You have a battle of the bands between like Jem and Josie and the Pussycats and the Archies or something. Paramount is still trying to revive the Transformers franchise. Oh yeah, the last live action one was Rise of the Beasts, which was a sequel to Bumblebee, which was a quasi prequel, quasi reboot of Transformers. The Michael Bay Transformers movies. Transformers 1, they tried, but it didn't succeed. It didn't not a lot of people saw it in the box office. Which is consistent. I mean, the first Transformers, the movie, didn't do that great either. So, even though the original Transformers movie is amazing, still holds up today. And in fact, one of the things that Hasbro did show at San Diego Comic-Con was the new Junkion figure that I want to get. The Junkion Car figure. I want to get that guy. They already made a movie about Josie and the Pussycats. They did. They did do that. Yeah. So, I've seen it, Santa. It wasn't very impressive. Oh no. I did not see the Josie and the Pussycats movie. Not my jam, shall we say. Yeah, I feel like maybe I should bring up the Toy Arc website here so we can look at the San Diego Comic-Con stuff. Chit chat about that. Somehow I missed that. Yeah. Not surprising. It was like a teenage movie. Well, it was like the 90s or early 2000s that Josie and the Pussycats came out. I remember the the girl playing Josie was cute, but she had like the 90s pixie cut kind of thing, so that makes pretty much anybody cute. But yeah, where are we at now? Time-wise here. 1:48. Okay. Toyarc.com. Let's see. I heard Michael Bay is returning to direct another Transformers. Okay. I don't know. I don't consider the Michael Bay movies like my Transformers. So I don't doesn't do too much for me, shall we say. Can I do this actually? Window capture. Okay, let's see. Is that not gonna work for that? Cancel. All right, won't worry about that. Do it that way. Okay. Can't be any worse than the last one. Yeah, this is why I didn't get into them. Like I don't not my jam, shall we say. Sorry here, I'm just seeing. Is that gonna work? Come on, I put the no, I want. Oh my gosh, okay. www.toyarc.com. There we go. We got that is big, embiggened. We're going to put that down here and then shrink me down a little bit here so we can actually see that. Get rid of the sidebar for a moment. Let's see the browser. Can I embiggen that a bit more? There we go. Okay. Last one was animated. Yeah, that was the Transformers 1 was that animated one. That was not well received. I thought about it, but then I realized, like, you know, I don't love that version of Transformers history that they do. It's based on the aligned continuity, which is the one where there's like the 13 primes and the Quintessons invade Cybertron and take it over. But you have the 13 primes and Optimus is the chosen one and that sort of thing. And I'm not really a big fan of that version of Transformers. Okay, why can't I interact with said browser? What is going on here? Why am I not trying to get this working here and it's not working? Why are you not scrolling? SDCC roundup. There we go. We'll go to that. And it's still not. Why are you not scrolling? What is your problem? Why you no scroll? Okay, this isn't working. Sucks to this. We'll just delete that. Yes. Let's see if I can get a window actually working here. Hold on. Let's do that. Then we'll pop back over here, because I wouldn't mind going over SDCC stuff with y'all. If... There we go. Okay. Alright, that's not great window view, though. Bring it down there. Let's see if we can embiggen this a bit. Get that out of there. So you're not seeing all my different tabs and things. Widen that out. There we go. Now, is this going to work? Hooray! There we go. Now it works. All right. Let's check out SDCC. See, widen that out so it's actually... There we go. All right. Can you actually see the stuff? Good. It's actually working. Catching up here, Michael Bay, Sid and Marty Croft, Multiverse. Here's Lesson Studios, want those big bucks. Last one they animated wasn't it? Didn't see it. Used to watch Super Friends when I was a kid. Yes. All right. Let's see here. SDCC stuff. We'll start with the obvious, which is... Oh. TMNT versus Godzilla. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but the Ninja Turtles X Godzilla. Apparently, Donatello is going to be Jet Jaguar, which is unfortunate. I was hoping he would be Kong, but either way, Leonardo is Godzilla, Michelangelo as Ghidorah, Raphael as Rodan. I like the episodes where they fought the Legion of Doom. I think it was one of the Super Friends cartoons where they had Adam West voicing the origin story of Batman, which was like, oh, that's awesome to hear Adam West. So it's like, Batman's origin for Adam West is, the Batman origin, the proper Batman origin. Let's see. I guess let's go down from top down, whatever. Masterverse. I know I'm not like a channel of 80s retro stuff, but here we go. Let's see. We got him, got Mosquitor. Does Mosquitor have the blood? Oh, he's got some blood. It's not like the blood, like squishy blood thing that he had, the original gimmick he had as a toy, which is no fun. Come on. Dragster, we got She-Ra when she was still working for the Evil Horde. Cool. Nice figures. I remember that episode. Yeah, Scarecrow is the villain. Yep. I gotta get this one, Hordak, because like I said, I'm only collecting like key figures for Masterverse. So like I've got He-Man, I've got She-Ra, I've got Skeletor, I've got Stinkor because he's my favorite of Skeletor's minions, but I feel like I should get Beastman because he's like Skeletor's proper lackey. I've got the Horde Trooper already. Now I got to get Hordak. And those are kind of like the key figures. And then once they come out with like Snake Men in Masterverse, then I can do that. But I want to get Hordak because he was pretty goth. Let's see. And then the 2002 series, which was awesome. 2002 is actually my favorite version of He-Man. That was an awesome show. But that's 2002 He-Man. But I'm going to pass on getting those figures. I don't need them. If I was going to do that, I would just collect the old 2002 He-Man figures. So whatever. See, Jada Toy Street Fighter, Marvel Legends, don't need to worry about that. Don't do that. Star Wars, don't do that. Haya, Persona 5, that's okay. Mezco, Batman. McFarlane, Mortal Kombat, Fallout. Did the TMT Godzilla. Oh, Jada Scooby-Doo figures. Nice Master Universe collection. Yeah. Yeah, Master is one of those things I collected as a kid. I liked as a kid. Actually, my most vivid memories of He-Man, Master of the Universe, are the magazines, the old magazines. I got those, had subscriptions to those. So that's sort of like the one that's most in my head is He-Man, and then it's the Filmation cartoon. But I don't want to collect like all He-Man stuff because I collect classic monsters and whatnot. But the certain key He-Man figures, like He-Man himself, She-Ra, Skeletor, those sort of ones. There's Jada's Scooby-Doo figures. So they got the Scooby-Doo line coming out. Oh yeah, the Martian UFO there, the laughing skull. So there we go, Street Fighter, yeah. I lived and breathed Street Fighter. We actually have like Street Fighter. It actually was really good. Actually, the bride was really good at kicking my butt in it until I started figuring out which characters I could use to beat her. So, because usually I play Ryu, but then when she started kicking my butt all the time as Chun-Li, I'm like, all right, I got to change my strategy. I got to change who I use. So, and then once I started kicking her butt back, she stopped wanting to play anymore. So much for that. More Street Fighter, more Scooby-Doo, Invincible. All right. Those are neat figures from the first season of Scooby-Doo. Yeah. Yeah, and each of the figures, I don't know if they have more photos in here, but each of the Scooby-Doo figures, the monster figures, they have like the head with the monster, and then they have the head of the person, and then like the mask that they've ripped off of him. And I know in a previous wave, I think they showed Fred as the Scooby. What are they called? God, what is the gang called? I can't remember. Scooby Gang, whatever. Motu Transformers, which are lame looking. They kind of missed the boat on this one. It's like, here's Man-at-Arms in Bumblebee armor. Like, what? And there's like Skeletor in Megatron armor. Like, okay, I guess you could do that, but I would rather see like the Masters of the Universe vehicles that transform. Right? Those meddling kids. Yeah. Chun-Li with a flying spin kick, yeah. Let's see. Snake Lair playset, and I don't really care. Marvel Legends, Factory Entertainment, Battlestar Galactica, Jaws, SH Monster Arts Godzilla. Let's get into what this channel's about. So let's see, we got, well, there's Godzilla doing Godzilla stuff. It's a good looking figure. SH Monster Arts Ghidorah looks pretty good. My problem with SH Monster Arts is that it's so expensive. Like, beautiful Shin Godzilla right there. Would I get this detailed Shin 200 and something bucks for it? No. Is he in translucent? Oh, he is. Okay, so translucent parts on the Shin Godzilla. Awesome. Do I want to pay 200 bucks for him? No, I don't. So that cuts out that because of SH Monster Arts. But good looking figures at least. So Fred's dressed in a very flamboyant manner. He's a confident man to wear a kerchief. Yeah, Shin Godzilla looks fantastic. Yeah. Yeah, that's that's like translucent plastic there. That's great. Oh, wish I could afford SH Monster Arts. That's my entire toy budget right there. And there's their Kong. That's kind of meh. Especially now that Haya has shown their Kong. The SH Monster Arts is like no dice. SH Monster Arts is losing the battle with Haya, at least in terms of sculpting and whatnot. Mondo, we can pass that. Hasbro breakfast mask images. Oh yeah. What do you got here? Iron Studios, Jurassic Park. Big Bad Workshop, The Tick. Oh yeah, Monster Force. Okay, let's have a look at that. Cops. Okay, that's making a comeback apparently. Monster Force. Operation Monster Force. Looks like Snake Eyes there. So there we go. Declan Van Helsing, Count Dracula for Monster Force. Right there. I think I'm going to pass on these ones, though. Although the Sleepwalkers, like, that guy looks great. That's a great looking figure. For, shall we say, 1940s military style. So, I do like those guys in this line. They're just not really necessarily what I might invest in. Oh, that looks really cool. The gun, the gas mask and stuff. But yeah, I think my understanding is Monster Force is like an alternate World War II kind of scenario or something like that. Random military guys. Sure. Oh, got like a werewolf man or Dr. Jekyll kind of guy. They're Dr. Rand. Okay. Mr. Legacy. When is Shin Godzilla getting a sequel? There's been that buzz recently, but I don't know. Ooh, that's a really cool looking figure. Another Sleepwalker. That buzz has been popping up recently, but nothing has been confirmed. Whoa! Ambassador from Moulier. That's cool. Okay, that figure might be coming into the collection. And he's got a Cobra Commander hood. That's awesome. Okay, that figure might be coming to my collection. Ambassador from Moulier. That's just like Cthulhu meets the German-Austrian Painters Club. Right there. That looks awesome. Yeah, there's been buzz for Shin Godzilla 2, but nothing's been announced. And you know what? That's okay. I don't mind if they don't do a Shin Gojira 2, because Shin Gojira really does stand alone as its own thing. So I've got the Japanese forces now coming into the Monster Force war here. Is that a Sasquatch with a Gatling gun? Agent Harker? Okay, if that's Sasquatch, that's hilarious. Does he have a tag? I don't know. Let's see. Toho should do a multiverse film. That way they could combine their Showa and MonsterVerse kaijus in one movie. That would be very ambitious. I don't think licensing-wise they could actually pull that off. Commander Gridiron. Yeah. Might be a little too ambitious to do something like that. But it would be interesting to see a bunch of different Godzillas together that aren't like just Monster Island buddies. Werewolf with a Gatling gun. That's pretty cool too. I could see buying that one and the Ambassador from Malia as figures. Maybe Sasquatch. But I think definitely the Ambassador from Malia. I think that figure is too cool to pass up. And I like him a lot. Yeah, I'm going to get that one. If I can. If it shows up in Canada. If it's affordable. If it's like $100, then no. That's not happening. And there is another werewolf figure right there. It's actually just a really good werewolf. So, those are beautiful figures. Yeah, I'm liking these Monster Force ones. I wonder what size they are. They look like they may be about 6 inches. I prefer 7 inches because that matches with the NECA Universal Monster figures. And there's these ones, which are 6 inches, I gather, which is unfortunate because I would really like them to match up. But here's Sky Captain, the World of Tomorrow. So I'd love to get that one, even though it only looks kind of like Jude Law. And then the Rocketeer. It's only 6 inches though, which means he's the same scale as Flash Gordon here, which is an inch shorter than the Universal Monster figures, which is unfortunate. I prefer 7 inches over 6 inches, but how often is a Rocketeer figure ever made? So I might just pick him up anyways and just have sort of maybe like a separate shelf of like just 6-inch figures, since they can't really interact with the 7-inch figures and look quite right. But Um, beautiful figures, such realistic tentacles. Yeah. Monster Force, not familiar. Yeah, that Monster Force is a new one. Can tell I was kind of like not super familiar with it. I've seen it. I've heard of it. Like I haven't seen the figures out anywhere. Or I've heard of it. Um, but yeah, it's sort of like this alternate World War II with monsters kind of thing. Um, I love that Rocketeer and Sky Captain. Yeah, and then they have this also these NPC figures as well. So there's like the Exorcist Priest. So that's cool. Get a priest figure. Except if these are 6 inches, again, that doesn't work with the Universal Monster figures, which is unfortunate. Yeah, includes demon portraits to possess other NPC action figures. That's awesome. But a priest figure would be cool. Have one of those. There's some gangster figures. Here, Mob Boss, right there. That'd be kind of a fun one to get. I did get the 6-inch Sala figure from the Indiana Jones line to go with the Mummy NECA figure. I kind of figured, it's setting up kind of like a diorama, and the mummy's in the sarcophagus, kind of coming out of the sarcophagus, so it kind of is okay to have a 6-inch figure in there. But I do wish these were like 7 inches. That's sort of my preferred scale. Do they have a Rondo Hatton figure? I wish. That would be a good one for NECA to do. Edgar Allan Poe figure here as well. Rondo Hatton would be a great one for NECA to do. But this company, Big Bad Workshop, this is Big Bad Toy Shop, like the Big Bad Toy Store, had their own figure line. These figures are looking really good for what they are. Santa, there you go. I'd rather get the Four Horsemen Santa figure, but these look like those might just be like 3 3/4 figures. Ooh, there's a Santa for you. Oh my god. That's pretty edgy Santa there. Mrs. Claus, Krampus there in the background. Yeah, cool. Good Krampus figure would be nice to get too. But that'd be one I'd want like from Four Horsemen. Not one to figure obscura line. Got Haya. All right, let's see what Haya's got. Not that I don't know what Haya has already. Got more Godzillas. There's your Godzilla 2000. Looking all right. Haya is like the perfect midpoint of beautiful sculpting and decent price point. Like in my neck of the woods, a Haya figure for a normal size one is like $70, which is what I would expect to pay for something like that. The Ghidorahs tend to be a bit more. They can be like almost double that, but good looking figures. Burning Godzilla, Godzilla 2000, Monster X. So that's from Final Wars. Rondo Hatton, he wasn't exactly in Rocketeer. It was an actor made to look like him. But yeah, Rondo Hatton did horror films without the makeup. Yeah, because he had it's like a skeletal deformity or something like that. That gave him like these very exaggerated features, which not great for his love life or his longevity of his life, but yeah, worked for movies. So here's their MonsterVerse figures: Tiamat, Behemoth, which I think is dumb looking as a monster, just because it's like a woolly mammoth but a gorilla hybrid. Not a big fan of him. There's Celia figure, which looks great. Of all of the MonsterVerse Titans, this is my favorite. Like original ones, this is my favorite one, I think. I like that Godzilla figure, yeah. Agreed. And then they finally announced Scar King. Hello, hooray! Finally, Scar King. It's only taken forever, to the point where I gave up on Haya. But now I'm like faced with this: should I buy the Haya ones now? Then, because now they got Scar King for Haya. There's a Warbat figure that they made as well, or they were going to be making, so that's tempting. And then like their Kong, Beast Glove Kong. Look at that. That is a great looking Kong figure right there. So I don't know. The temptation is really there to get back into Haya again. Give them a thought. Giant spider, he's just like Kumanga. Yeah, I think like Cilia is kind of the knockoff Kumanga. But as far as original Titans go, um, he's probably the best, or she is probably like the best looking one. Tiamat's not bad. It just was in the movie for all of 2 seconds. But yeah, Beast Glove Kong here, like looks great. Those are glass eyes in there as well, apparently. Yeah, I tempted to get this figure and tempted to get their Scar King. So, which is like because I kind of reconciled to Playmates being the MonsterVerse figures that I want. Or not say want, just the ones that came out. Like I got Scar King and I got One Eye and I got Beast Glove Kong and Mothra and I picked up the 2-pack with Shimo and Godzilla. And I have Suko and Doug because they came out. I could actually find them and buy them. The Haya ones took too long. But now that they're finally coming out with them, it's like, oh, that is tempting. That is awfully tempting. All right, where were we here? Syndicate Collectibles, DC Animated, NECA DC Animated. What is that? Oh, more NECAs. So we've got Sesame Street for NECA. I do kind of want to get this guy. I do. I am thinking the Count might be too hard to pass up for those figures, the NECA ones. I guess these are NECA kind of toony figures. There's Superman, NECA Superman, NECA TMNT. There we go, NECA Horror. That's the money one right there. What We Do in the Shadows Toonie Terrors, which is hilarious. I don't expect them to even see them, but Colin Robinson, who's my favorite character on What We Do in the Shadows. What else? Beetlejuice. Yeah, here's the Universal Monster ones you were talking about before. So I passed on this guy. I've seen him around, but I passed on him because I just don't feel the need to have a second Invisible Man figure. Metaluna Mutant. Definitely want that one. Definitely want the Metaluna Mutant. And Mask of Red Death Phantom. Like, that is a gorgeous figure. I hope that... it looks like that cape is wired as well. Definitely want the Mask of Red Death Phantom. Even though I already have a Phantom, but that's a beautiful looking figure. Metaluna Mutant, want him. Ardith Bay already have, so no problem there. Is PBS getting defunded? That's what I've heard, but I don't know. Who knows if what you hear is actually true or not. These ones are hilarious. So NECA has made these figures of the old Imperial vinyl figures, which I think is hilarious. And, you know, I'm not... oh, do they have close-ups of them? Come on. I'm not... Like, I didn't pick up the... I'll go back to that. I didn't pick up the their Remco line because it was just repaints of the main line figures. But these ones actually have some new sculpting. Like they have the different mummy head on there, which is meant to look like the Imperial mummy figure, but that Imperial mummy figure was based on the mummy Clarice from Abbott and Costello Meet the Mummy. So this could like basically be that character. This could be like the Clarice figure. So it's like that would kind of be like my first pick to get that one because it's a different mummy. With Dracula and Frankenstein, they have these new head sculpts to go with them to match the original Imperial soft vinyl figures. And yeah, and the packaging matches the original figures as well. And then there's the Wolfman here. I think this is the only one that might be just a reprint of like the mainline NECA figure. But yeah, like the fact that these are different enough, they're not just a repaint of the NECA figures, but they actually have these resculpted parts, like the different head and stuff like that, makes it tempting to get these. I'd have to see them to decide if I really wanted them. They're obviously meant to be kept on card, which is another reason why I didn't get the Remco remakes ones, because it's like I have enough of a problem with like the reaction figures that are meant to be kept on card, let alone when it's a giant NECA figure. Like, yeah. I would remove them from the packaging. Yeah, like the packaging, they're kind of meant to be like an art piece, right? Keep them on the package, keep them on the card. It's just when like you're paying like, well, in my neck of the woods, you're paying like $40 to $60 for a NECA figure, and then it's meant to be just be kept on the card. It's like, nah, no way, can't even justify that with the Super 7 figures, which are just like little figures, only like $20. But this mummy though, because the sculpt is based on Claris, makes me potentially want to get this one because it's a different character than Imhotep the Mummy. So there's that. Ben Cooper figures, same whatever. Stuff we've seen before. Vincent Price, got him already, so that's fine. Modern horror, yada yada yada. Freddy and Jason and all that sort of stuff. Predator, Alien, Jaws, got that. And then here's the monsters that was mentioned before. So, yeah, there's Herman Munster, Grandpa Munster. Said I might, if I see it, I might pick up Herman. I don't know. I'm not like a huge Munsters fan, so we'll see. But just the fact that he exists makes him tempting to get. So, like the leather figure. No bride, not for the Imperial ones, because those Imperial ones are based just on the ones that came out back in the day, like back in the 80s, and they didn't make a bride one. They just made these 4. So that's what NECA did for their thing. Yeah, Herman and Grandpa down there. I wonder if they're gonna do the rest of the monsters, like Lily and Eddie and all them, the whole gang. Uncle Gilbert. Actually, I might. That's one I might just get if it comes out, anyways. Uncle Gilbert. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. If they even come out here. Again, like NECA's even coming out in Canada it's so touch and go that it's really hard to say anyways, if I'll even ever see them. I think that's really it. DC Multiverse. Here we go. So what do we got for that? Yeah, black and white versions of them. All sorts of different colored Batmans, of course. There's the Golden Age Wonder Woman. She is in the mail, on her way. She'll probably arrive tomorrow. But that's the one that's in the mail. It's coming. So, Golden Age Wonder Woman, that's great. More Batmans. Just saw this guy today, which is like so frustrating. Because it's like, I thought about, like, would it be fun to like rebuild like the Superpowers collection from the 80s with the McFarlane DC Multiverse figures. But I kept missing like key figures, and then because I missed a key figure, I'm like, I didn't buy the other ones then. And then now they come out with these, another key figure like blue and gray Batman. I'm like, yeah, but then I already missed getting like Green Arrow and Superman and the Atom and a previous Wonder Woman and all this sort of stuff. And I missed buying those because I missed the previous blue and gray Batman. So it's just like, So it's like this vicious cycle where it's like I just kept missing out on these figures because I didn't start collecting right from the start of the line. Yeah. Plus, then it's like, okay, Plastic Man would be like the most key figure. He's my favorite superhero. And McFarlane made him a Build-A-Figure. So it's like, well, I'm not going to buy the other ones to get him. So without Plastic Man, what's even the point? And do I really need a Superpowers collection that's more expensive? No, I don't. So, I don't know. Maybe, depending on what Mattel does. Who knows? But, no. I can hear the bride cringing, like, no, Cory, don't buy more toys. You don't need them. Like this, dear. She's my voice of sanity in terms of all this stuff. But yeah, and they never made like a good Robin either. Like this is sort of a Jokerized Robin, but this is the sculpt they used for the other Robin anyways, which is like that's not really a good Robin figure in my opinion. Or not for classic like 70s Robin. So yeah, no, they're not showing the Wesley Dodds Sandman, but that's okay. He's in the mail anyways. So as McFarlane as that's winding down its production. But yeah. Do they have a Ra's al Ghul? Yes, there's a couple of Ra's al Ghul figures. Not in this wave. Not in this set. But I have seen Ra's al Ghul out there, other versions of him. So, It might be like the version from like Injustice or the version from the Arkham Asylum games, but I have seen like figures of him, so they are out there somewhere. That's McFarlane, DC Multiverse. Where were we? Did I miss? Where were we? Jada. There we are. McFarlane DC Multiverse. Jada Toys. Yeah, there's the more Scooby-Doo ones. And the Flintstones, which is hilarious. Oh yeah, there's the Frosty the Snowman. Tempting, but only if they were to also make like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and stuff. I want to get these ones because I love Flintstones, and then it's Pebbles. Like they made these ones not as a Flintstones line, but as part of their cereal line. So I've got like the cereal monsters up here: Count Chocula, Frankenberry, Blueberry. They did the Trix Rabbit. They did Tony Tiger, and now they're doing Fred and Barney for Pebbles. So I want to get those because Pebbles and Flintstones are a big part of my childhood, and I still love Flintstones and have the whole series and all that fun stuff. So definitely want to get Fred and Barney here. If they ever show up in my area, I might have to order those ones too. But Flintstones are my favorite. Yeah, I love Flintstones because like I grew up, like my mom, she grew up in the 60s with Flintstones, so that kind of got passed down to me. And then in Western Canada, we had like 2.5 Flintstones theme parks. There was Bedrock City in Chilliwack, British Columbia, and Kelowna, British Columbia. And then out here at Calgary, we have Callaway Park, half of which was originally a Flintstones theme park. So, like, I grew up with Flintstones all different ways, watching the cartoons, eating the cereal, going to the theme parks. So, I still love Flintstones to this day. There's the Scooby-Doo ones again. There's sort of the little Gilman there, looking all right. The only thing is, I'm not a big fan of the Jada figures as action figures, though. Like, these are pretty much the same legs that Count Chocula has, and they're really touchy. Like, they're not the most robust figures. These are really more like toys for kids, but then kids would rip them apart pretty quickly. So I'm not like super sold on them. Plus, they're only like 6-inch figures. Here's the Creeper with his human head on. I might be tempted to pick up like a couple of the Scooby-Doo monsters, but again, if I see them, whatever they're priced, how well I think they go with other figures, that kind of thing. How did the Flintstones get television in the Stone Age? I think there were just like little like prehistoric woodpeckers and stuff running the TV, right? Something like that. I don't know. They had advanced technology back then. How else would they have? Where would TV have come from? It came from the Stone Age, right? Mattel Masters of the Universe. I think we looked at these already, pretty much. Masterverse, yeah. Got Moss Man there, looking pretty cool. The Thundercats, and I got this one. Thunder Battle Cat looks amazing. I wish that was a Masterverse figure. That looks so good. The Thunder Battle Cat looks awesome. Makes me wish I collected the Origins line for He-Man. Yeah, there's Hordak again. Whatever. Looked at that stuff already. Hasbro Ghostbusters. Anything good there? What do you got? We've got that's Ghostbusters 2 figures, which are meh. Ghostbusters 2 is a movie that exists. Ghostbusters 1 figures look all right. Librarian, Slimer, Ecto 1 with lights, Ecto Glow figures. I think those were the exclusive for San Diego Comic-Con too. So, yeah, there we go, Ghostbusters. That's great. I don't really collect Ghostbusters stuff. I had like the animated looking figures, but sold those off because I didn't really feel like they fit with what I was collecting, and got to choose what space you have, right? So I think that's it for anything really good. Yeah, Marvel, Ninja Turtles, exclusives, Hasbro stuff, Transformers, Age of the Primes and Studio Series 2026 reveals. Whatever. Getting tired. Transformer stuff and G.I. Joe stuff. Okay, great. That's nice. Let's delete that now, and we will embiggen me again here. So you have to look at my ugly mug. Got a sidebar back up there. Oh, that was fun, looking at toys. Yay. So the SDCC was kind of disappointing this year, though, for a lot of stuff. There wasn't really, like, a ton of figures that I looked at, like, ooh, I didn't already know about, so. I do want that Rocketeer. Sky Captain would be alright. Some of those Monster Force figures now I want. Depending on the size. Let me see. I'm just going to do a quick check here. What is the size of Monster Force figures? 6-inch figures. Okay, so they're not going to totally fit. But then it's an ambassador for Malia, so it doesn't really matter how big he is. That'll just work out anyways. Okay. Ghostbusters figures are fantastic. No female Ghostbusters. Wise choice. Well, considering the movie bombed, I don't see why Hasbro would want to invest in the toys. In fact, Hasbro, I actually feel a bit sorry for Hasbro in some ways, because they've got these licenses like Star Wars that are dead in the water now. Like, they don't sell. And they've got these characters like Rey that doesn't sell. And they're just kind of like there's been more and more figures lately that Hasbro has been choosing not to make toys of, because they're like, that's not going to sell. No one's going to buy that. So it's just like, I can see them just being like, why on earth would we even do the female Ghostbusters? No one's going to buy them. Everyone hated the movie. Even the people who liked the movie hated the movie. The only reason they claimed to like it is because they were going to like own the chuds by liking, this controversial Ghostbusters movie. So, no, I cannot imagine them making female Ghostbusters. Included a lot of characters. Yep, they did. I don't know if I closed the window, but like there's the Mondo doing the real Ghostbusters figures are gorgeous. They are these beautiful, animation accurate, fully articulated figures, and they come with like these massive ghosts. So like one of them, I forget who it's like. Egon comes with the Sandman or something, or the Boogeyman. It almost comes with the Sandman. Like they come with like couple little ghosts and then like a big ghost. They look gorgeous, but also super expensive, like way beyond my budget for toys. So I'm not getting those ones, but they look amazing. Female Ghostbusters is a good movie to watch if you have a hard time falling asleep. I would imagine so. That's one of those cases where I'm not even going to see it just to say I saw it. Like, it's not worth my time. I would rather watch something that I want to watch. Either something I haven't watched before or something that I know I like. Anything other than a movie that I know I'm going to hate. So, no interest. No interest whatsoever. Plus, I don't think I've done this rant. This rant might have actually been nested into my review of Ghostbusters Afterlife. What I found especially odious about the female Ghostbusters and how they were promoting it and everything is that Ghostbusters is a franchise. It celebrated being a nerd. Like you had these nerdy guys who weren't saving the world by being big action heroes and being Arnold Schwarzenegger. They saved the world with their nerdiness, with their intellect, with the technology that they built, that sort of stuff. It was a celebration and a vindication of being a nerd, which to me as a kid was really important because I was a nerd. So to have these heroes who were like me, not because they physically looked like me, like, oh, it has to be, where Egon kind of looked like me, tall with glasses. It's not because they look like me. That's the lowest form of representation. It was aspirational because it was like, being a nerd is okay. The thing that you're being beat up for by the bullies in school is okay. And here's the story about these guys who are saving the world because they're huge nerds. But then female Ghostbusters, used its platform to mock that and to mock nerds and incels and, whatever. And that's just, to me, that's despicable. To take a franchise that was based around celebrating that and to turn it into this just really mean-spirited, vicious attack on those people is just despicable. Yeah, I actually, like, it's not even just that I'm like, I don't want to watch it. It's like, no, I'm not watching it. So forget that noise. Expose! Glad you made it. You missed everything. You missed the unboxing. You missed our discussion of San Diego Comic-Con toy reveals, all that stuff. So, but glad you could make it. Glad you finally made it here. They tried to bring in an audience of kids to the latest Ghostbusters films. Yeah, I didn't actually see the last one, Frozen Empire, or whatever it is, because it didn't really interest me. I liked Afterlife. Partly because it was filmed here, partly because it was an apology for the female Ghostbusters. I thought it was interesting in how it was like, it was a remake of the original, but in a very different style. Like the original was like Saturday Night Live comedy, whereas Afterlife was like 1980s kids adventure movie, like The Goonies and that sort of thing. So they took the same pieces, Gozer and all this and that, Terror Dogs and everything else, and then they put it in like this kids adventure movie genre, which I thought was kind of fun and kind of interesting, and I didn't dislike it. I related to the girl, McKenna Grace's character, the young Egon, because like I was her as a kid, so I related to her. Again, representation doesn't have to be something that looks like you. But yeah, it was a fun movie that was just playing around with the same parts in a different way. So I enjoyed it, but it wasn't enough, I don't think, to make me interested in seeing Frozen Empire. They turned the giant marshmallow man into tiny comical minions. Yeah, I like them. They were fun. I had collected those marshmallow men, but then I sold them when I sold off all the rest of my Ghostbuster stuff, because I just didn't feel like I had room in my collection for it. Yeah, I liked the tiny marshmallow men. They were fun. They were ridiculous. They actually reminded me, because their glee in killing themselves, sorry, YouTube, unaliving themselves, it reminded me of that episode of Real Ghostbusters where the firehouse gets haunted and the food in the fridge is trying to force feed itself to Ray. It reminded me of that, which was amusing. When when the ghosts have this Thanatos complex and want to destroy themselves because that's their purpose. But yeah. Sorry, I watched Throne of Blood and was reading and finished my book, and then in the back of my mind I remembered, oh crap, he's streaming. Oh well, again, we're glad you made it, Expose. Glad you made it. So to tell Ghostbuster merchandise to children now, which is fine. My internet blew out, so I'm having to use hotspot. Well, we're glad you made it as well, creature. No problem there. So Expose, what you missed so far? So I did a buy-e unboxing. There's one of the things I bought, which is the Azrak Hamway King Kong Walker. I also picked up from an eBay purchase the Azrak Hamway King Kong Bendy. So those are new. Also picked up, here it is again, the King Kong Trick or Treat Studios mask, 1933 Kong. So I'm going to foam this up and have that on display. Picked up the Japanese translation of the Delos Lovelace 1932 novelization, and this little cute Gilman right here. Got him as well. So that's my new stuff that I unboxed here tonight. So that's what you missed for the most part. Let's see. Before I go to sleep, I need to ask you: have you seen or read Kon-Tiki? I have not. I am familiar with it. But I know that even though it was a somewhat successful attempt at experimental archaeology, there's no credibility to what Thor Hader Hall was doing. But I haven't seen the movie or anything. I know about the expedition because we talked about it in my classes in university and stuff. But Yeah. I love animated Ghostbusters. Yeah. They had better storylines than any of the movies. Well, the first Ghostbusters movie is great. That is unparalleled great. Um, uh, but yeah, as far as like, there was no single episode of Real Ghostbusters that would have made a good movie on its own. Maybe that's part of also what disinterested me a bit about Frozen Empire. But as a weekly cartoon, it was great and was my first introduction to like Lovecraft and stuff like that. Like Ghostbusters, Real Ghostbusters, the cartoon was like my gateway drug to stuff like H.P. Lovecraft. So and classic horror and whatnot. Heck, there's even an episode based on Citizen Kane. So yes, um, yeah, I lived and breathed Ghostbusters as a kid. It was one of my top things, which is weird that I don't have it now and stuff. But um, yeah, it was one of my top fascinations as a kid. Was Real Ghostbusters, and the first Ghostbusters movie as well. Yeah, it's weird that I got rid of that. But then that said, I also like was a huge Ninja Turtles fan as a late kid, early teenager, and I have like nothing Ninja Turtles. That one just is not in my zeitgeist as a thing that I want to revisit for some reason. Um, but yeah, Ghostbusters. Yeah, I don't know. I don't feel a need to own Ghostbusters stuff, I guess, as opposed to like King Kong, where I feel I need to own all the Kong things. Creature loves the mask. Yes. Yeah, it is. It's a great looking mask and fuzzy, which is nice. Really good likeness of it's the um, the thin mask or the thin head version as opposed to the fat head version, the round head version. Yeah, that is a good looking mask right there. Good sculpt of 33 Kong right there. So I don't know. Should I put it back on? I know everyone's like, yeah. And the bride's like, put it back on. Put it back on. All right. Oh, glasses off. There we go. And you'll be able to see. And hat back on. All right. There we go. New Facebook profile picture. Right there. There we go. There we go. Perfect. Ha. I don't know if you... Well, okay. Well, it says you can hear me. So, let's see. Didn't like any sequels of Ghostbusters? Yeah. First Ninja Turtles film was the only good one. Correct. Yeah. You're not quite on right. Ah. That's hilarious. Yeah. Here we go. I don't know. Bride, should we take another drive back down to Cardston and go snap a photo of me by the Fay Ray fountain there wearing the mask? Could be something to do someday. I would say we take the dog too, but she might hecken it. Like, what happened to Cory? Why is there a gorilla in his way? Used to be him.
Glasses are crooked.
I know, I can't get them on right.
Turn towards me.
Oh my god.
Because it's on your eyebrows. There you go.
Okay, there we go. The bride just helped with the glasses. Okay.
It's a large frontal. What can you do?
Yeah. All right. Most sequels are disappointing. That is correct. But in keeping with the King Kong theme, Son of Kong is an all right little epilogue to the original film. But yeah, most sequels are disappointing. The only sequel actually I can think of off the top of my head, well, I don't know. Let's see, Godzilla King of the Monsters is a way better movie than Godzilla 2014, so there's that going for it. And my favorite Star Wars movie is Return of the Jedi, so I don't know if that counts for anything. Oh, I just went... Such engaging content. Just went dead on online. Oh, it's getting hot in here, though. All right. I gotta get out of the mask again. All right. There we go. I don't know. It might actually be a shame to foam this thing. might be fun to actually put it on every now and then. Maybe I will just get a styrofoam head for it, but not like styrofoam heads are really bad for latex masks, apparently. So I have to figure out a way to safely mount this on something. Make a stand for it or something that's not won't damage it, but will allow me to display it. Yeah. I don't really want to take off the tag, though, either. That's a thing. But that said, I keep... I do collectibles. I don't do tags and boxes, right? So, let's see. The Thing and The Fly are probably the only remakes that are better than the originals. I don't know about that. I mean... That's the thing is, like, those are in the 80s slasher gore sort of milieu. So, I've also heard people argue that the Blob remake is better than the original. But, I don't know. I mean, I like the classic horror, so I like the original Fly, I like the original Blob, I like the original Thing. I mean, The Thing isn't one of my favorite movies anyways. Thing from Another World. So, I don't know, but whatever. If you like them, that's fine. I'm not gonna crap on it. I would say The Road Warrior and Aliens are sequels that are better than the originals. Well, I know Aliens is just a different movie, right? Alien is a survival horror. Very claustrophobic survival horror, whereas Aliens is like a military movie. So, Superman 2? Mr. Rogers, the original Fly film was a pretty darn chilling film, but Carpenter's Thing was so much better than the black and white. Sure. I don't know. Different tastes, right? Different tastes, different strokes for different folks. Those... No, that's just... Might be where they injected things. Sorry, I just noticed like these weird little dots on his chin. But... yeah. Anyways, sorry. Admiring the mask here. Maybe I don't want to foam this. I do want to keep it so I can put it on every now and then. Just for funsies. Because that's the point of a mask, right? Otherwise I would have just got a bust. A model bust. Alrighty, where are we at here? 242. That is getting closer to what we actually do for for a live stream. I like Superman 2 more than the first one. Yeah, it's been so long since I've seen those movies that it's hard for me to say which are about those ones. I would think that, yeah, Superman 2, you got him fighting Zod and stuff, so yeah, it's okay. Think of other sequels that are better than the original. So I got Godzilla King of the Monsters. I like Return of the Jedi more than I like Star Wars. Or we'll say Return of the Jedi is my favorite of the Star Wars trilogy. Oh, I'm having a hard time. There's things in Jurassic Park 2 that I liked more than Jurassic Park 1. But they're pretty equal, in my estimation. Terminator 2, some argue, is better than Terminator 1. Went off the rails when they beat the one with Richard Pryor. Yeah, but it has that terrifying scene of that lady being turned into a cyborg. So, Superman 3 is like nightmare fuel for childhood. Any kid that grew up in the 80s. Other sequels that are better. Bride of Frankenstein is at least equal to Frankenstein. Tarzan and His Mate, I would say, is better than Tarzan the Ape Man. Not by much, but it's a little bit better. Yeah. Having a hard time thinking of other stuff. Kong has acne? Maybe. The one with the nuclear man was an editor's nightmare. Yeah. Any desire to see Coyote versus Acme next year? If it looks good, maybe. Actually, I heard that last one was good. The one with Daffy Duck and Porky Pig. I heard that was good, but I just didn't get around to seeing it. I don't know. If Coyote versus Acme looks any good, maybe. But it's not what I'm planning on seeing. So, as it is, we began talking about how, like, I have yet to see Fantastic Four because I'm so out of touch with like seeing movies. It's been so long since there's been a movie worth seeing that I just haven't bothered, and it's hard for me to remember. Like, oh yeah, I wanted to see that. So I don't know. I have to remember that when it's even in. The Day the World Ended. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I heard that was good, but I didn't actually see it. So I don't know. Ooh, my God. Starting to drop off now. That was the yawn telling me that it might be time. 9:42 Calgary time. At least I'm not doing anything tomorrow except getting an oil change, and then I'm doing a talk for. We have this thing here in Calgary called Historic Calgary Week, where there's different talks and tours and stuff having to do with our history, and I'm doing a talk tomorrow on geology, Calgary's geologic history. So I should probably practice that a bit before I do it. Did you see Jurassic World? I did see Jurassic World. Oh, expose. I have been busier than I have for this summer. It's not many films I have seen. I have been touching grass so much. I must go now. Bye. All right. Bye, expose. See you. Thanks for dropping in. Glad to see you. Glad you're keeping busy. Did I see Jurassic World? Yes. Did I like Jurassic World? No. Jurassic World was the most okay or least unokay of the Jurassic World movies. I thought the best parts of it were the parts with the theme park. Universal City Walk with the Margaritaville and stuff like that. I think it would have been a better movie if, the Indominus had escaped, and then it was sort of like this sort of race to try and contain it without the guests finding out. Which they did a little bit, but then really quickly they went to the whole place is trashed and destroyed. It's just Jurassic Park over again. And then the whole we're breeding dinosaurs for military purposes is dumb. We live in a world where snipers have to account for the curvature of the Earth when they're taking a shot. Where we have smart bombs and bunker busters and drones and everything else. Why would you think to throw wild animals onto a military field? So I thought that part was dumb. But I liked the theme park parts. Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom was an utter piece of trash. I hated that movie. And I hated how insulting it was. Because it, required you to forget things that happened in the previous movie. Oh, wow, Blue and Owen have, such this link. No, Blue repeatedly tried to kill Owen in the last movie. Multiple times. The whole, Chris Pratt surviving a pyroclastic flow. That is bullshit. The whole, oh yeah, we have this dinosaur that will attack a target if you ping it with a laser from a scope, from a gun-shaped scope. It's just use a sniper rifle then at that point. It's just so much dumb stuff. And then it's the end where it's they release the dinosaurs because they deserve to be alive like me. It's you shouldn't be alive either, you mutant freak. It's just so irresponsible. That whole thing about we should allow this invasive species to live. Oh my God. Come on. It's just so insulting and so dumb. And it was required you to forget things that happened in the previous movie. And it's just oh, no. So I bowed out of the third one. I didn't even see the third one. I don't care that they brought back Sam Neill and Jeff Goldblum and stuff. Nope, not enough. Not enough. Don't care. And consequently, did not care about Jurassic World Rebirth either. Did not see that one. Don't care about it. And more so than just oh, these are crappy movies with dumb premises, is that they fundamentally betray what Jurassic Park was about. Because the whole point of Jurassic Park and Jurassic Park 2 is that these were real animals, right? They went to such pains to present them as real animals. You know, Jurassic Park 2, the whole subtext of the story is about family. And I got like fur from Kong on me. Um, it's about family and presenting these dinosaurs as real animals with their own families, right? You know, the whole climax is about the T-Rex trying to find its baby. You know, they went to such lengths to present these as like real animals. And then in Jurassic World, they're just movie monsters. The premise of it is they genetically engineered movie monsters specifically to be movie monsters, Indominus Rex and so on. So it's just like these movies aren't just like, you know, crappy decades later disingenuous reboots. Um, they fundamentally betray what the thing is about, which is such a common theme nowadays with remakes, right? I talked about Ghostbusters earlier, how it fundamentally betrayed the whole like celebration of being a nerd and saving the world through your nerdery. Um, you know, modern Star Trek, current Star Trek is a fundamental betrayal of classic Star Trek. Um, you know, and everyone's like, oh, is it woke? Is it not? Star Trek's always been woke. Star Trek has not always been woke. Star Trek was liberal, and it was based around, you know, competent, emotionally regulated people who are the best of humanity and who have transcended petty, you know, the petty human concerns of our past and are driven by this desire to explore and to expand humanity's horizons and the challenges they encounter with that, and using these different alien species as a proxy for discussing how we as humankind can get to this point that we see in the Federation. And now in modern Star Trek, it's just a bunch of like really unlikable people, like the worst of humankind, all yelling and screaming and crying all the time. Like they literally in Discovery, like they blowed up all the warps because someone was really sad. It's just like this is such a fundamental betrayal of Star Trek. Star Wars, you know, like the act like Star Wars, you can pick and choose like which ones are good, which ones are bad. I think the prequels are terrible. Some people like them. Sequels are terrible. Whatever. Andor is great. Andor is fantastic. Andor is the best Star Wars thing since the original trilogy. But you got like the Acolyte, where it's like, you know, it's from like the Sith point of view, where evil really is just a matter of perspective, and evil is sexy now and stuff. It's just like, again, that's a fundamental betrayal of what Star Wars is about thematically. It's just like you have all of these people who are making these crap things that are fundamental betrayals of what the whole franchise was originally about. And yeah, Jurassic Park did it, or Jurassic World does it to Jurassic Park. And it's just like, ugh, I don't have the energy or the will for this stuff. I can't. So, and this is gonna be the part. This is the rant that, you know, clip out this rant. Monster Kid Cory, you know, rails on about woke movies, but like, yeah, no, it's just there's such fundamental betrayals of what the things were about, and I can't do it anymore. And that's why I retreat into the old stuff. You know, I was surprised Superman was as good as it was. I was cautiously optimistic about it, but like, you know, even like modern, like the MCU today, I didn't even like MCU to begin with. I was never an MCU guy, and even then, I can still recognize how the current MCU stuff is like such does not have a patch on the old MCU stuff. So, anyways, whatever. I don't think even their writers were able to keep track of the plot. Yeah, no kidding. Well, and that's another thing too, is like we have movies being written by people who don't know how to write stories at all. They don't know how to write engaging characters. They don't know how to write plots that make sense. They do like a stupid person's idea of a smart person. Stupid plots, stupid characters, bad writing. So, and then you know what? And this is the depressing thing, is that this generation of writers is what's going to inspire the next generation. The next generation of Hollywood writers are people who grew up watching this stuff. And that is disappointing. That is like apocalyptically bad news. So I don't know how we're going to recover from this nonsense. I'm going to root for the dinosaurs in the latest film. Yeah. I haven't watched any of the latest Star Trek shows. Yeah, don't worry. Paramount has new owners, maybe things will improve. You know what, you can say that, but then they just, like at San Diego Comic-Con, they just showed the trailer for that new Starfleet Academy show, and it's just as bad as everything else. Strange New Worlds is just as bad as anything else. In fact, on their Facebook page, they posted this thing of like Spock and a Vulcan played by Patton Oswalt, which that is like, if Patton Oswalt's in it, no thanks. I'm not gonna watch it. Doing this like high-fived, like it was like one of the worst things I've ever seen in Star Trek. It's just like nope, 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 nope. So yeah, it's got a lot to improve. The only way you're going to improve Star Trek is you take it away from Secret Hideout, take it away from Alex Kurtzman, and you put it in the hands of people who understand Star Trek. That's the only way you're going to save Star Trek. For right now, though, I just content for Star Trek content. Either I watch the old stuff or I play Star Trek Online. That contents me. Star Trek Online, I have my 23rd century era character with his 23rd century era ships. I've got like the classic original series style ships. I have my full roster of those ships. And that contents me for Star Trek stuff now. To me, Star Trek Online is actually better Star Trek than what is on TV or streaming or whatever. They went downhill after Endgame. Yeah, and that wasn't even that great. Anyways, I saw Infinity War, and that is like 4 hours of my life I'm not getting back. And even then, it's gone downhill. Even after that. Whatever happened to my show was a hit. Now I don't know. I'm with a bunch of British knights prancing around in woolly tights. It seems to me they've really lost the plot. Are they going to use AI now? They might as well. Just get AI to write the scripts for these things. It would probably be better than what the actual people are writing. And that's the problem with AI. Okay, here's my AI thing. Right? Everyone's all like, oh, AI, AI's can't make real art. AI can't make real paintings and stuff like that. It doesn't have human feeling. Now, the problem with AI is not that it can reproduce like masterwork pieces of art. AI could not write Casablanca. AI could not do a pre-Raphaelite painting. But it can do a really good simulation of modern art. It can do a really good simulation of modern slop commercial art. It can do a really good imitation of modern slop movie writing. That's the problem. It's not that AI can do stuff that is the best of humankind. It can do stuff that is the worst of humankind. That's the problem with AI. And that's not the problem with the program. That's the problem with us. AI could have written a Jurassic World movie. Probably would have even been better. AI could write modern Star Trek. That's the problem. So, anyways. I did not see the latest Mission Impossible. I have not seen the last million Mission Impossible movies. So, I don't know about seeing the last one. So, I tuned off Trek after the first Kelvin film. Just hated it, yeah. And yeah, the first Kelvin film was like, okay, this is like Star Trek 90210. Star Trek's an action movie. It's kind of dumb, but whatever. Doesn't know how space works, how big space is. But then Star Trek Into Darkness was dumb. Like, again, that was that, like, just fundamental betrayal of what Star Trek is about. Star Trek is not about Spock yelling and screaming and punching Khan, No, it was such a fundamental betrayal. It was so dumb that I just, was forget this. And I didn't see the third one. I was like, no thanks. And yeah, and it doesn't at all surprise me that modern Star Trek comes from Alex Kurtzman, who was involved with J.J. Abrams and those movies and all that sort of stuff. It's exactly that same kind of thing. And in fact, if you told me that, oh yeah, this actually takes place in the Kelvin universe, I'd be like, oh yeah, makes sense. In fact, I still would maintain that the prime timeline of current Star Trek is not the same as classic Star Trek. Because, that's being generous. It's generous to say it's not the same timeline. Because the real alternative is that the writers of it are so dumb, they don't even notice when they're making gross continuity errors. Like how the Federation would not have a slave race of androids, because that was resolved in an episode of Next Generation. So obviously it's a separate timeline. But then you have the sycophants who were like, no, they said it's the prime timeline and you don't get to decide what's the continuity. It's like, yes, I do. I do get to decide what I watch. Thank you very much. So, anyways. This is like some of the spiciest you've got me, guys. um, let's see. Do you think 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea should get a remake? No. Do I think you could do a good remake of it? Yes. Do I think they would do a good remake of it? No. That's the thing, is like, given the choice between like Disney just having it on Disney Plus so nobody can watch it. I mean, anybody could watch it, but nobody chooses to watch it. Or having like a new remake movie or series on Disney Plus, I would say just leave it alone. Just leave it up on Disney Plus and people can watch it if they want to. Because I would not trust Disney to do a good remake of 20,000 Leagues. So, can you imagine what that would be like? Yeah, it'd be like a race swap. Well, here's the thing. Okay, 20,000 Leagues already was race swapped because Captain Nemo is Indian. But they would do it again, but they do it like worse. It would be like a gender swap and everything else, and it's just like, And it would be a thing of like, oh, Captain Nemo has this diverse crew as he fights against, tyranny, right? And you could do that well, but I wouldn't trust Disney to do that well. It would just be like the slop of, where it would just be people crying and hugging and talking about how diverse they are, which is like, that's not the point. There's organic ways to do diversity and there's inorganic ways to do diversity. And I would trust them to do it inorganically, whereas the character is always talking about how diverse they are and hugging each other and crying, as opposed to building compelling storytelling that is built on the diversity but doesn't like talk about how diverse it is. If that makes any sense. Like classic Star Trek was just diverse, whereas modern Star Trek is like somebody giving you a lecture about their pronouns, right? The diversity, they have to talk about the diversity of it. And it's Hollywood diversity anyway. So Hollywood diversity is fake diversity. Like real diversity, if you want real diversity, watch movies from Africa, watch movies from India, watch movies from Asia. Don't just watch Hollywood movies where they make the demographics look like Los Angeles. That's fake Hollywood diversity. But that's what they would do in a remake of 20,000 Leagues. So is it worth watching? No. But there is a way they could do like, a diverse crew fighting against tyranny. They could do that. And they could even be topical, but I wouldn't trust Disney to do it well. So screw it, whatever. I'm sure they would make it about environmentalism. Yeah, sure. Wasn't Ned Land a whaler? I'm not sure how that would fly today. He was also a womanizer. Yeah. Maybe they would make him gay. I don't know. Which is fine. Not there's anything wrong with that. But, yeah. Or they would make Ned Land the representative of, like, white male cis heteropatriarchy, right? So Ned Land would be, like, the villain. And Captain Nemo would be the hero because he's more diverse. Well, the original Verne novel was about both imperialism and environment, so that's cool. But Disney can't make good Star Wars, much less stuff from 60 years ago. Exactly, right. Like, you could do 20,000 Leagues well about diversity and the environment and fighting against imperialism and tyranny. You could do that well. I don't trust Disney to do that well. So, yeah, that's the thing. But that's the thing. And, like, I don't want to sound like one of these, like, anti-woke type people. I'm not against diversity. I'm just against, like, fake, bad, pandering diversity that is used in place of character and in place of plot. Have the diversity built organically in the story. Have good writing that doesn't just center and hinge on the characters are diverse. Okay. But, like, what's the story, though? Who is this character? Like, okay, they have, these are their pronouns, but what is their character? Are they noble? Are they virtuous? Are they an asshole? Like, what is the character? What are their flaws? What are their dreams? And not just their pronouns. But anyways. Would they include giant octopus today? Sure, why not? I don't know. Who cares? No, it would be like some kind of like sci-fi Kraken thing. It would be like some glow-in-the-dark Kraken thing. With 1,000 tentacles. And bioluminescent dots all over it. They're in glowing bits and stuff. Maybe it would be like a nuclear mutant or something. Or all the pollution coming out of the Thames River. Now it's made this monster. Or something like that. I don't know. Be something stupid. The giant octopus is the highlight of the story. Yeah. Yep. And here's the, like, you could do another way you could do 20,000 Leagues is an interesting way is to actually go back to sort of the pedagogical purpose that Jules Verne had, right? Because Jules Verne was an educational writer. You know, his stories were about these far-flung places around the world, and the technology were means to do that story, right? So 20,000 Leagues was a travelogue of the ocean with the Nautilus as the means to do that. So how else are you going to travel the ocean? Well, you can build a submarine, right? So you could do a series on 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea where it's like almost like a nature documentary, and they go to these different places around the world, and you have plots centered on that place. You can have a plot for an episode centered on Atlantis. You can have a plot centered on Antarctica. You have a plot centered on the Amazon. You know, stuff like that. And it's sort of like part travelogue, and you have a story built around that motivates them going to that place. But then it's like, you know, seeing this part of the ocean, seeing the wildlife there, seeing the landscapes, the seascapes, that sort of thing. You could do that. You know, you could have an episode in like Hawaii with like King Kamehameha taking over the islands, right? And how would Captain Nemo react to that sort of thing, or whatever, right? You know, that's a bit before Captain Nemo's time, but or like a young Nemo seeing that or something. You know, you could do it that way and build on sort of the, you know, Jules Verne's original purpose as an educational author, to use video to showcase these places and build a plot around that. Do I trust Disney to do that? No, I would not trust them to be able to do that. They would write some crappy show where the point is all the people hugging and crying, talking about how diverse they are. So, which is not engaging storytelling. That's the problem. It's not the diversity, it's the storytelling, that, or lack thereof. Yeah. Nemo versus Cthulhu. Yeah. The giant octopus was the ancestor of monster movies like It came from beneath the sea. Yeah, well, here's the thing. It was not a single giant squid until the Disney film. Prior to that, it was actually like a whole school of squids. Right, the book is the Nautilus getting attacked by multiple squids at sunset. So it's not that like Disney, you know, it's not like other monster movies were inspired by Disney. Disney was probably more, well, I don't know if they were inspired by other monster movies, but they were definitely saw a narrative sort of purpose in limiting it to one giant squid as opposed to a bunch of littler squids. Setting it during stormy weather, all that kind of stuff. Disney, for the most part, kind of like kept to itself. You do see those movies where they are definitely sort of tapping into like things that are popular. Like their Merlin Jones movies are tapping into like the Beach Party movies. The Moon Spinners is like a Disney version of a James Bond movie, which is weird. The Love Bug is trying to kind of tap into 60s hippie culture in a very tame Disney sort of way. But for the most part, though, Disney doesn't really look that much outside of itself in terms of like what they were doing and why. Which was also why Disney was so innovative as well. Is that, you know, they weren't taking cues from other sci-fi movies. If anything, they saw other sci-fi movies as a model of what not to do with 20,000 Leagues. 20,000 Leagues, they like made some deliberate choices that broke with current sci-fi films, like setting it in the past, making it a period piece. You know, that sort of thing. Although, but they also, you know, tapped into the whole atomic anxiety part, which wasn't really part of the book at all. But they turned it into this atomic parable, but then they split with the rest of science fiction Because the rest of science fiction is like, ooh, the atom is scary. Whereas Disney was like, yeah, the atom can be scary, but it can be used for positive things too. So, that's a subtext in 20,000 Leagues. And they really highlight that with their documentary, Our Friend the Atom. That's where they really highlight the idea that, like, the atom, what makes it scary is how it's used, not the atom itself, right? Which is different from other sci-fi movies. But, yeah, anyways. Giant octopus is much more interesting, way scarier. Yeah, correct. Correct. No, it was a good choice to make it just one giant squid that was attacking during a storm. Walt Disney had excellent storytelling instincts. As a youngster, I felt disloyal to Canada, that I found Ned Land icky and sleazy, but the sea doggo liked him, so couldn't have been a monster. Yeah, well, there's no indication that Ned Land in the movie is Canadian. Like, he's French Canadian in the book. There's no indication he's Canadian in the movie. In the movie, he's sort of the symbolic emblem of red-blooded American masculinity, right? So, as opposed to Nemo, who is sort of this emblem of sort of devious European intellectualism. So there's that contrast in the Disney film as well. But that also makes Nemo a more compelling character. James Bay is also enjoying the center of the Earth. Yes, he was. One of the only true science fiction movies. Most science fiction movies are really anti-science fiction movies. Whereas Journey to the Center of the Earth, it's like a proper science fiction movie, right? It ends with James Mason giving this amazing speech about science and the scientific method and that sort of thing, right? Like, it's actually grounded in science. Not so much that there's dinosaurs center of the Earth, but the idea of, like, scientific discovery and how science is done and that sort of thing, which I enjoyed that in Journey to the Center of the Earth, which is now also a Disney movie because it's 20th Century Fox movie. All knowledge is good. Only the use to which we use that knowledge is good or evil. Thank you, Paul Williams, the TV series Planet of the Apes. Yeah. I remember he kept a pet seal in his cabin. Yeah. He used to sing to it. Yes, Esmeralda. Esmeralda was Nemo's sea doggo, but then Esmeralda and Ned Land became fast friends. And in the end, when they fled the Nautilus as it was blowing up and sinking, they rescued the sea doggo too. They had Dimetrodons played by iguanas, yes. Yeah, the effects in Journey to the Center of the Earth leave a little bit to be desired. Would have been better if they had used, like, stop-motion dinosaurs as opposed to reptiles and fins and stuff. But, again, there's a lot to recommend Journey to the Center of the Earth in terms of, like, how it treats science as a pro-science fiction movie as opposed to an anti-science fiction movie. But anywho, oh my gosh, we've over 3¼ hours now. So it is after 10 o'clock my time, which would suggest that it is time for little old me to go to bed. No previews this time because, again, I haven't worked on anything because I've been dealing with this move and my tour guiding schedule on top of that and stuff. So when I see Fantastic Four, I will do a review of that. So hopefully maybe this weekend we'll be able to do that, and I'll post my review of that if I have anything worthwhile saying about it. Otherwise, yeah. So I lied last time when I said that last stream might be the last from this location. Turns out no, because the move has been a bit slow. But next time will definitely be in the new place because we need to get moved over there. So, why do you think someone ate the duck? Dude ate the duck because he was hungry and he felt that he was entitled to the duck because he was aristocrat. That's why the dude ate the duck. But yeah, no. So depending on the internet, there may or may not be a stream next month, but definitely the next stream will be from the new place, one way or another, whenever it might be. So this will be the last stream in this location. So there you go. Next one probably will be with in the tiki room, going from the tiki room, which means I guess I should really do the if it is going to be from the tiki room, then the next live stream should be, hold on a sec here. There we go. The next live stream should be this one. The Skull Island Luau live stream, coming from our tiki room in the basement of the new place. So I guess it'll be the luau when it's coming from the tiki room, and the drive-in theater when it's from the monster dungeon, which will also be my other room. So, anyways, there we go. So goodbye to the old basement, and hello to the new tiki bar. I guess we'll see you over there whenever the next stream is. Hopefully, the end of August, we'll be up and running enough to be able to do a stream from there. But if not, it might be the end of September then. But either way, next stream, new place, God willing, fingers crossed. And yeah, we'll see you then. So thanks everybody for popping in here tonight, and we'll see you next time.
And now, folks, it's time to say goodnight. We sincerely appreciate your patronage and hope we've succeeded in bringing you an enjoyable evening of entertainment. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon. Good night.